I don't know that I don't play my dear. Oh, boy, no, look on money, but you don't know what the guy play. Did that say, I'll leave you again, or say, I'll leave you okay. Roland at the other more, Roland at the other more. Blow by the yo, blow by the yo, blow by the yo. I wonder how you blow by the yo. We got blow one way, we got blow one way, we got blow one. Blow by the I don't know, I know I'm playing. They don't matter. You want to raise it. We got blow out one way now. Was it we were there from the day come back? No, so I'm boy not to work one look at. Daga your mamma, Daga your mamma, Daga your Mayamua. No more blow by the yo. That was my boy in free that year. My boy in free, my boy in free, Papa's my boy in free. Blow by the yo. And yet they blow at the end. I don't make any by no by that over. Can we buy no by that? Can we buy no by that? Can we buy no by that over? Oh, yeah, we go blow one way over. Well, one by no by that. Blow by the yo, blow by the yo, blow by the yo. Yeah, you are money. Well, you are. My day, I'm on you, I'm on the Suma day to Jano. What was the way, my dear? We are gathered for the room. We are one of our work while they are the food. I out of the morning. Can you get that on there? There's your boo on the rover. Oh, yeah, and you're not the old one. Yeah, Papa, man, we will move. Did I want to did I want to did I want to get my day one more, get my day one more, my day one more. Did I do not go supply somewhere? If I walk at you, leave that I don't fear what I know I am ready. I am ready. To buy a bottle of wine. Yamley, I will let you. Yamley, I will let you. Yamley, I will let
Good evening, good evening. So I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for joining us yet. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. And it's good that you are here this evening. Hopefully, I'm audible here. I want to make sure the mic, everything is working. Okay, thank you so much. Welcome to the show. It's Tuesday. And interestingly, he surrendered his program here tonight. And so I'm going to be filling in. That's part of our responsibility here to always fill in the gap. To all our viewers and listeners, we say good evening, to welcome. I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. If this is the first time, we say you are wholeheartedly to welcome. Hola, good to have you here. Going has Don, thank you for joining us here. HM Bazi Adengo, Teller, I like new faces here, which is also good. Mr. Richie Tape, good to be here. Francis, good to have you here. Ari Jones, thank you. Sweetie City, no, Sweetie Sha, I believe. Tree. What sort of tree is that? Is that a coconut tree or which tree is that? Or palm one tree? Good to be here. And of course, Fatima and our prime time viewers and listeners, thank you for being here, hitting the share button. Thank you so much. Alexander Bassi, good to have you here as well. I got to put a boxing ring off for Fatuma and Esther here. What did I mean? Esther or woman? Esther, we got to know Brittany. Brittany is in the house. Kennedy is in the house. Mohammed is in the house. Venetian is one of the strong fanatic of the liberal. But I get a big endorsement this evening. One of the liberal favorite broken wing this evening. We will announce that. Say Jacob. Of course, thank you for being here. I am Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you. It's 8:10 Eastern Standard Time. Welcome to the show. And let's get the ball rolling. So right here, right now, from the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. Welcome to the show. Is in the house, and of course, going is Jasper is here. Joetta Johnson, Johnson Carvins is here. Pamela, of course, Bolin, Gil, Ravi. Hopefully, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do here before I can't cause trouble here. Folks, thank you for being here along the way. We'll try to give recognitions as usual. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us here this evening. Let's get this here and get the ball rolling. So right here on the Diaspora Informative News Outlet, Liberia Public Radio. I am your host and presenter, Alfonso Ziensot, right here this evening, sitting in, filling in for the Liberal Progressive. The Liberal asked for us to sit in. The Liberal is having a great time. I will try to be a little nice here this evening. I don't know what are you going to stay like that, depending his fans' reactions and some of his supporters on this network, especially the analysts, depending their reactions. Then I will put up my usual garment. My understanding, he's spending the evening with his, I believe, his daughter to graduate. All day I was in the training section, and this guy kept throwing bombs on my phone, Place it me. My folks will be expecting me. They will be cheering me up. Blah 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 blah, and all of that. But again, it's good. So it's a great time that he's having. It's good to have somebody time to spend with our family, especially they having a big day. That is okay. So I'm not sure he's not going to be here. We all need to find time. But notwithstanding, that cannot deter us to do what we are doing. And of course, because you also have a share. And so we need to have this conversation. Regardless, I'm not here, the liberal or any of the analysts. Somebody should stand in the gap to fill in so that we make sure and have this national conversation. So I'm here this evening sitting in for the liberal. Sitting in for the liberal does not in any way suggest that my talking point will move in the directions of the liberal, because I feel the liberal and his guy, Jerry Bacon and others, views are very extreme, not good for the network. The sanctioned voices, they do not want people to be heard. They want their side of the story to be heard. And that's another way of being controlling and shoving things down the throat of people. In today's society, this is not what we require. So we need to have all to empty all on the conference table, sit around the table, discuss it. So I know the liberals and my man Venetians and all of those people, they are the strong supporter of liberal. So I see there's a little disappointment here because the liberal is not here. So even if you were to come and show up here, he already saw his bright rise. So he will be on my wing. That for sure. So whether he comes or not, he will be powerless. I am running this show. I am conducting this show. Tonight, no phone, no Channing phone here. Channing phone gone to the hospital. Channing phone will not be heard. So it can be whoever, as long as you are Liberians, you have the right to discuss about your country. And that's exactly how I see it, and that's how it should be. So let's take a quick break here, and we will be right back here to continue tonight's program. I am your host and presenter, Alfonso Z, and so filling in for the Liberal Progressive. I'm going to give that to him. Let's take this quick commercial break, and I will be right back.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events, such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services and your friends in business.
Okay, there you have it. There's our man Mazola Gizit. He always here every Sunday for program Dancing with Jesus. And also we bring you live program, to be it graduation, funeral, family reunion, conventions, whatever it is, even if there's an event in Liberia. For the most part, our folks are all inside Liberia. No matter which country you find yourself in, if you have a memorable event, let us know. I've said this over and over, but you don't listen. I don't know why, but we will keep doing what we're doing. We don't just want to be throwing cash out numbers and say out number here. There will be a time we will do it, but I've said it over and over. We do not want to take the generosity of Liberian people, their kindness in giving. Liberian people, they do give. But we have realized on LPR the kindness of people is being exploited. And because of the divisive politics, and so people invest into something without them investigating as to where these funds are going to be used and whether they are properly being accounted for. If we can call government and other people responsible, we as institutions, media institutions, is no exception. It doesn't mean you are in the media, so you are above the law. Media institution, media personnel, practitioners, or whatever you call it, best, you are also liable to the lawsuit if you smear people falsely. And that's why people think they have the microphone to their advantage. They hear things, they don't investigate, they don't get their sources right, and you think you're going to defame somebody's character and walk free? No. The media is not a benchmark that you are above the law. And it seems most of our colleagues, people sit on major outlet and badge and slam and say things without even they become definitive, as if it was proven, as if it was the court verdict. You can't do that. We must be responsible in our argument. We must present this argument with facts, not our own apprehensions of what we think it is, because we have certain demographic. We are talking to certain people, so they will empathize with all, they will sympathize with all, they will agree with all. Because the thing about it, when you sit here, you read the minds of the people. We see it, we see people reactions when they are writing. And so some people, they move in that direction because they want to appease, they want to communicate with a certain group of people, or in order to bring them closer to them so that their message can resonate. But that's not what this profession is all about. That's not what it's about. And we do understand how to polarize our society. And the politics has caused us to be so much divided. And the media industry is one of the institutions that is helping to drive this agenda, this sort of divisiveness. So some people goes on their own platform, they spoon feeding, they say things because they want to get the attractions of the people. And they think that what they are saying is authentic, it's fine. No. And you have the host sit down there and just throwing his or her hair because he feeds in the bite of this person, the guest. For the most part, only one person does that. It is the liberal on this network who have to facilitate some ridiculous conversation. Not with me. And that's why some people, they find it very difficult. We call, we talk to people, we can set rendezvous, but they have their supporters. You'll call them, don't go there. And some of them will be brave to ask us. I want to know the question. You want to know what? Question. Is that ELTV Sherman Brown 1980 something show? Yes or no? No. You can know the questions, but you have the right to know the outline, the point, or the conversation. I can send you questions. I can give questions to you. I'm not accountable to you. Neither am I against you, but we are obligated to you as the audience. It is us. It is our responsibility. When we bring guests, we will respect them. We will treat them as a guest, but we are not going to prepare oatmeal for them. If they are babies, if they do not want to come, so be it. And it happened many, many times, and it will continue to happen. And this is why we do not want to wait for guests, because they are very selective. They are very strategic in that sort of form of communication, because they want to go on a very soft ground to just throw anything out there, and the facilitator, the host, falls into those traps. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that. We are not against, we are not for. Not are we not a resistant movement. The media, that's not a responsibility of the media, but we stand and as a conduit between government, citizen, and its people in terms of prosecuting the news, putting it out there, and the citizen ultimately becomes the decider to what we talk about. So they won't come, they don't want to come, some are fool. We will continue to talk because we believe in you. You count on us. So when you see you're asking these critical questions, it's worth doing because we want people to make informed decisions. Not people getting in their feelings or some sort of emotion because we call certain characters. How many times many of you have not regretted, oh, I thought, I didn't know he was going to be like this. He fooled us because he wanted to be. Because he said it once and you agree with it. You did not ask all of the tough questions, the how, the when. He never asked these questions. Maybe because of the other leader or other party root style way of reading, but you want to make sure. And this is why we want to acknowledge all media institutions. When media institutions, personality are not sold out to politicians to withhold or to hold up news from the shelf, trust me, we're going to have a good, balanced, and great society. And I'm just telling you, know what I know. There are some institutions, other news that get it, they hold it. People buy, people spend money. They tell you, say, hold this news, we don't want to talk, don't talk about it. And you can tweet from start to finish, or the other one happened to say it, but they hold it. We don't do that. We don't just break it because we want to break news. In the profession, at least you might have 3 sources that you must talk to confirm what you are saying. And that's why you even have an editorial board. You don't just get and throw something in because when you smell people, there are people characters involved. If you do that, you are liable to serious lawsuit. But all of these things are being ignored. People come out and just say anything they want to say, and they say their freedom of speech. People are supposed to be going to court. Then when they come from there, when they pull one orange or purple jumpsuit on there, the next time when they're talking to people, they will have a second thought. You can't just be definitive. So if people say something to me, it is my responsibility to reach out to the accuser, either by phone call, by text message, by email. If he or she doesn't respond, it's my obligation to tell the audience, yes, XYZ was said, I reached out, he or she didn't respond up to press time. That's how you present the news. So when you hear, we don't say it your way. We don't talk it the way you want us to talk it. We say it, we talk it, how it should be talked. But we are liable to be corrected. We are human beings. No one is infallible. But when the liberal and folks that jerry back on are here, then it becomes a compelling situation because they tend to be the fixer. He's here. My understanding now, he's in Washington, D.C. And President Boyka sent a special emissary, and that's where he's going to meet this guy. He's in one fabulous car, and you're going to see what I'm saying right now. Even though it's risky, but I'm going to bring in so you will believe what I'm saying. Let's go to near the capital of Washington, D.C. My understanding, he went with a special flight. I don't know who charter he would tell us, but he went in the business class from Longita Boston's Longita International Airport in Washington, D.C. as we speak. Here you see him. He's going to meet the delegation, the person, the people that are sent to meet him. Oh, Lord, my goodness. Is the Liberal is that a Liberal? Maybe the Liberal deceived me. Is that you and Liberal going to be the delegation to Washington, D.C.?
Okay, it says Liberal. I'm not even in Washington, D.C. I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Well, other than get the same name, well, probably you change the venue. As far as we are there, our folks, people told us
But that's the whole thing. You're not supposed to know my movement.
okay.
Why you think I'm in Washington, D.C.? I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Well, they are all sisters, Seattle, Washington, D.C., other than the same step of D.C. Okay, I know you're driving, but let's get a quick. Mr. Bacon, how are you this evening?
Good. I'm good. How you doing? Just want to log in a little bit. I'm driving right now, so I think I'll be on it tomorrow. All right. I just want to make sure that everything is well.
Okay. So you're talking to your guy, right? You're talking to your man, the Liberal. So give all the G's. Who are you going to see? From GOL?
Tomorrow I'll give you the G.
Okay.
Well, everything settled down.
All right, take it easy and drive safely. Good to get you. But
okay.
All right.
Take care of
it. So that's it. You see, the Liberal group, they want to be like this. One came in to kind of like something, another one not come. Yeah. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. This is the guy that came out here yesterday and telling us that we should pay 60,000 United States dollars so that maybe I will be the collector. The Liberal had a conference. There's a Judah among their group. He had a conference with his guys, some of the guys on LPR, and one of the members recorded their conversation. And guess what? Right after that, he said, Mr. So, I want you to listen to something. And when I go look, boop, the audio came in. I'm not saying that Terry the one sent that audio. I'm just saying it's a coincidence that Terry just came in and I got to bring in. I'm not saying that Terry the one sent that. I can't disclose my source publicly. And that audio came in, and Liberal said we should pay 60,000. I don't know what was Terry's position yesterday. Terry, good evening, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. So, how you doing, man?
Yeah, you agree with your guy yesterday? 60,000.
Liberal on your own.
So you were on your own?
Yeah, liberal on your own.
Yeah, man. Sometimes the thing, up interior, the people get a ways of whatever witchcraft, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes when people want to be confessed, they get all kinds of ways of doing stuff. So they will make you drink some of those durable water. Something they put in your eye. Anything that just come from your ear, your mouth, stomach, you just put it outside. Sometimes that guy can be so ridiculous.
I think Liberal won't be president.
Let's enjoy ourselves tonight.
I really think Liberal want to be president. Liberal himself want to run.
What then? For what?
I think Liberal want to run.
Wrong way.
Liberal they're putting some again like somebody else, but Liberal maybe Liberal want to be president.
Not that he's not qualified, but the mind. That people that also want to be president who will handle it. Not Liberal. When the Liberal becomes president, that country, that make it be thanking for total. It will be chaos. I'm telling you. He too soft.
You will tell it was in my head, I feel you nobody more.
What my president will tell about my head, I feel nobody more. And this is the same guy who said President Bouaka should put A.B. Kroma and what's his name? Fadiga. For them to go to Lofa to go talk. That it may want me, Terry, don't do that. Please, don't do that.
But who will give the reason I say that, Mr. So, who will really come together in this diaspora like America here to pay $60,000 US to make somebody president? I don't know.
That baby juice is drinking, we need to do something. We need to start because that juice making to chocolate. Yeah, I don't know where you got, but I could see the frustrations in the Liberal yesterday. There's some sort of disappointment.
Liberal listened to John Malu. That one made Liberal angry.
talking about John Bomolu before I forgot. I spoke with one or two person in the executive mansion. The president is furious. The president and folks around the president are not happy with John Molu. Yes, so I'm telling you, they're going to put extra people down to mend those fences. They were in the process of reconnecting. I'm not sure what prompted him, what prompted that interview.
Right.
They are not happy. There seems to be a closure with John Molu and that of President Boyka. And I say here, some of the folks around the president, the Moja boys, those Moja guys, they are long been waiting to get to get closer or to be to enjoy presidential immunity. That's exactly what has happened, and that's what is happening right now. Those Moja boys, they have closed the door. They see Molu to be anti. To see Molu who will not. That was one of the reasons he was disconnected in the first place. You saw him when they made a committee, when he began to make a case, he went on Spoons. You remember that time where that they were appointing people without a consent. There is a way that you can get things done. You don't be too much. And what I think he was doing, he was moving in the wing of the directions of the Liberian people because he feels like when people wanted this change, they want people to be audited, they want people to be put behind bars. I understand that, but it has to be done in a professional context. You don't do it to the extent you become disrespectful to the boss. It is you reporting to the boss. The boss is now reporting to you. And I know people out there that will see you say, okay, that's the right way to do it, but that is not the normal way that it should be done. You can have disagreement with your boss, but those sort of conversations, they are held behind closed door, not in the public, because what makes a man shame makes him
angry.
And all of us have made that mistake before. And let me make a confession here, but I'm afraid that if I do, you will take it and run it to the left.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
But we all make mistakes, and sooner we realize it. And sometimes it can be out of frustration.
That's very true.
Why, if your leader temperament counts a lot, because if you lack that temperament, you take hasty, reactionary decisions, and sooner you begin to have a second thought. Oh, if I knew. And that's my job. Let's have it. Sometimes we got to put our own good or bad thing in this level of people. We have to be genuine with people that will talk to us well. So if they want to take us seriously. So there was an incident. I tried to get my shift staff people in order. I don't know what I want to go back to this, not without reading this message. So, every time these people, they get policy, blah, 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 and things. So, we can sometimes people, especially when most Liberian or people you get used to it, they take advantage and out of that. So I got this thing here, and then my immediate boss, the director, tried to say something, and I was not in agreement with it. So I went and sent a text, that crying African way of acting.
Right.
the man from the border. So I sent a text. I said, hey, I'm putting people on shift because I will not be available, and they have, get their own way of doing it. They said, oh no. So I said, okay. Oh no, okay. I had a person on shift, and they said they want to remove the person. So I said, why? He said, oh, it's not needed because blah, blah, blah. In fact, the other people, how they can add. Company to do this thing because they want to save money. Right. So I said, well, always expect the unexpected. So there is a reason, because I was there lately and I saw what happened. Anything could possibly happen. So I'm taking the preventive measure now. This is why I put in this person. He said, move it. So I said, okay, I'm not moving it. If you want to move it, you move it. I know what I was doing. I said, if you want to move it, you can move it. I'm in charge of the stable. I know you are my boss, but there's a reason I'm putting this person on shift because what I see here, I am of a strong belief that it will escalate up to tomorrow. So we need to have a backup plan. You know, sometimes God can be on people's side. Boss deleted a person from a shift. And I say, okay. I got in. By the time I got there, when telephone rang, there was some sort of temporary disruption. Now the person is being removed from this shift. We need a coverage now. Tell me, say I'm a fan coverage. So I said, no, it's on you. I saw this.
Right.
It was coming. So I'm not gonna do. So the second boss was there. So when he came to, because I was already blown off. Yeah, crap, I was not holding back. He said, no, and about me, I said, I am not doing it. Put it here, so I will put it rasa. But I know I was upset. I think my voice was high and it was being done inappropriately because there were other staff there. I shouldn't have done that, or should have gone upstairs to make my point. So, but he saw that. He said, let's walk away. So then he asked me a question which makes sense, and then I went back in my chair. Say, I know you're doing no, you're saying no, not you're right, but this is what happened. How will you feel in front of your staff? You're talking to another staff, and the other staff saying no, no. Will you feel good? They're talking then I came to myself to I say, yeah, the other one here still cost. He said, right. I was not even happy. But I don't think you should have responded the way you responded in such an environment. That gave reason to staff too, that when you try to discipline or you try to give instruction to other staff, it gave cause for them to do that. And he was quite 100% right on that. Because I shouldn't have acted the way I acted. And he also understood the fact that the overall boss to just cut somebody off the ship, that is not within her purview. Even though at the end of the day, so what would they? I apologize, and she too apologized because you can't just give her that kind of way. I was wrong to talk the way I talk, and she was wrong for deleting
deleting the shit. Yeah, not listening to you,
not listening to me. So you know what? You spoil it, I spoil it. So the best thing to do, we move on. But back here, I mean, these things happen. So
yeah, but Mr. So the problem too is that in any organization, if you say you want to go straight by the boat, it's not possible. That is why when you
even in this country,
any part of the world, the people will bend the rules. They always bend the rules. Even where I work, they will bend the rules to fit in. Even the employee, you go and talk to the supervisor. The supervisor will look into the situation. Even if it's against the rule, the supervisor will say bend the rule to help you sometimes. So that is why when they're asking you for your CV, they look at your experience on the job. Because you go to school, you say you want to learn it the way the teacher taught you it in school. It's not going to be applicable on your job site the way you were taught in school. That's how it's going to be.
So, exactly. And the only thing here is not like back home. And that was a director. That's my overall director. I was arguing.
Wow.
There are some things if you are right too, you can be that fair. I mean, it's not like it's not like back home. You see, director, you gotta speak. If I want to speak, I speak. If I don't, suppose I have a bad day. My job, I'm there to do a job. Unless if I'm not doing the job, that's a different thing. I don't force to say good morning to you and this and that. You don't know how I slept. But whatever issue that I have, I leave it outdoor. When I enter the facility, enter the compound, I must be professional. But it doesn't matter, oh, good morning, G, good morning. No, that's not it. But I should also realize her action was not right because it was bad. Our force, or we were forced to pull another star, which was a headache because just imagine when you're somewhere, they take you, say, Kanye, we don't feel happy about it. So she understood that too. She went across the line. So it's the same thing. But back to our conversations, and there are two sources confirmed that the president was not happy, and folks around the president, because this thing is started all along. Molu wants to take a hard line. He really wants to prosecute other people, and there's a softball being played within the inside of which they feels that when they are brought him into the system, it will be some sort of embarrassment to the president. So, when you leader now, people advise you. And when 2, 3 verses hit your ears, you gotta get that sound of reasoning. God not going to come from heaven. Especially people that you have within your proximity as your advisor, as your, in every institution, they have an inner cycle. They get group among groups.
Right.
There are certain people, they are the last boss stop. Any other people can talk to them, but those people, if they speak to them and they say, hey, Mr. President or Mr. So, this is my opinion, this is what should be done,
Listen.
it is over.
Mm.
And there was some sort of disrespect being exhibited by Molo as well. And I saw that we had our conversation when he started talking, oh, they're doing this and that, doing that. Okay, that's not everything you empty out within the name. Professionalism, temperament. Do not mind the people out there. People out there, they are always reactionary people. They want instant gratification, instant solution, instant result. And when you're a leader, that's not how it's supposed to be. You listen to the people that are beating the drum. You listen to the people that are crying. You listen to the people that are laughing. You can't not everybody can cry at the same time. When people cry, other people are happy. Other people are happy. Other people are crying.
Other people there to make you feel comfortable, to comfort you.
Exactly. Those are all components of life and society. Those things go simultaneously. So you cannot run a judgment on one, leaving the 2 out without doing your thorough investigation. And so Molu, the old man wasn't happy about that. Folks around the old man, they wasn't happy. And I said that if you watch the history of Liberia, they are certain the Moja boys. If you not believe in their ideology, you start coming here, we say, see what Alari Toba is doing. And those are Moja communist idea. If you are not out of their society, back on Matthew, yeah, they are progressive, but they have that Moja mentality. He refused. When Samuel Doe appointed, they refused to work. Why you think David Fahar and all of those people talking and carrying to commerce? If you not believe in them, you not trust their ideology, they cannot deal with you. The Moja, the same group, they are the same group of people. They have that sort of social communist way of doing things. You either for us or you against us. The Kofi Woods and all of those guys are saying they are family boys. So if you want to be at that sort of high line up and not playing that kind of softball moderate type, they see you're not part of us. So Moluna is like a piece of cloth between the Caesar. They don't see him as someone who will not cooperate. They see him as someone, if they give him the authority, as someone that's going to be a pain in the neck to the government. And when he gets there, now he wants to do what is right. I'm not saying he's going to be doing the wrong thing. If you take action, it better not to bring him than to bring him and he started doing something and then you take an action, because when you do that now, then you become more or less enemy to the public. And that's the last thing you want to do. So see what Alari Toba White is being reported. I've now had the opportunity to talk to him.
But Mr. So, if it were you, what you would do?
About what?
If you were in a leadership position, like you the president too, and you're having this kind of situation, how will you approach it? How you think you're gonna?
I'm not president now. If you can talk to Patrick White and put me there, then I can be able to make a decision.
But Labour is trying to present a candidate. I don't know. Maybe Labour thinking about pushing you.
Who me? I can't be. No.
FPR is trying to present the next president for Liberia.
I think maybe
that is a big promotion for our show.
We can't. The Liberal is not either the choice. Because the liberal is like a banana leaf. How many peel a banana, they peel, they don't stand it down. The liberal is too, he's not willing to take decisions to make someone to feel bad. And leaders, You can't please everybody.
So you think we would struggle to sell liberal?
I'm not even going to sell him. I'm gonna be one of those that will kick against him. Not because he's a bad guy, but he will not be able to make firm decisions. Leader must be stable. You don't want to change a leader. This is a guy who I said on this network multiple times. He's unstable. He's unbalanced. How can you make someone who is not stable to you sack somebody today, the next day you bring a person. Then you sack the other person the next day. Is that a person you want to be a leader? I don't think we don't want to take risk with our country.
Today for you, tomorrow he's not, eh?
Yeah. But look, on a serious note, they are not happy. And I think you made when it comes to him, your analysis yesterday was quite correct. So I don't know what I can fix.
That was saying, Mr. So.
You see it as an angle, and you are quite correct because it was literally all of the things that you were saying. What this person, and that's a senior member within a GOL, that he's mad, he's upset because he was not brought in the system.
Right.
So he's saying and doing things that he's doing now. And so it is exactly why it is. I don't know. I've not had the opportunity to talk to him, but I wish I had the opportunity to maybe honor our invitation to appear here. But you know us here, we don't beg people. We extend you the invitation. You want to come? Come. You don't want to come? That's it. Because I think most of these things, they have this information. Some of the basic root causes, root questions should be asked. Because when you interview people, you listen to them. There's always a follow-up. They will say something. It is you, the interviewer's responsibility to do a follow-through. But if you don't do that, the person escapes. And so they will just flow and flow and flow. And the concept of listeners, they always like to be sympathetic with the person because they see you as a victim. So most people now, they see Molu as a victim. Molu raised a lot of money. Molu put in time for Joseph Boyka. Everybody who were talking like a little chihuahua, the Eugene Fagon, who said they were doing things for the Liberian people. And I said that nobody talk for me. I can talk for myself. All of these people, they were doing what they were doing because they needed political accommodation. I want job. I would not go talk. These people who say, oh, we're doing that for Liberia. It's a lie, Terry. All of these people, they want. Why you don't want to work for your country? You think I don't want to work for my country?
That's the thing now.
If you don't want to work, then we have more questions to ask you because you are not genuine, you are not authentic. Then perhaps you don't need to be trusted. If you are qualified and you say you don't want to work,
So maybe some people just want. Maybe some people just want to contribute to the process.
No, not without people there.
People. Anyway, I want to agree with you because.
Let's be real. People who want to contribute, they have their own. You see, there's some of the thing here. There's somebody, a person calling out now who will talk here. They didn't do it. If you see people who have their own establishment, then I will take them as a face value to believe in. But people will not get nothing. You think they was 8 hours, 10 hours to want to talk. Even the issue. Look, people have interest, and this is the dishonesty. The joy, sorrow, all of those people. Why you think billionaires support some of these people there? Because they have an interest. If Mr. X or Mr. B is elected president, their interest, and that interest could be their businesses, their association, things that they have in the system. Everybody wants something to be protected. Do you think he doesn't want to be president? Why you think they're giving billions of dollars? The Michael Bloomberg, why you think they're giving it? Because they have other establishment that are connected. They get contracts with government. They have different things. They also want these businesses to be protected to continue. So it's not for people to come and say, oh, I'm just doing that for social support. Oh, man.
But Mr. So politics are interest.
That's all about it.
Yeah. So nobody is just doing something for free.
Yes.
So, yeah. I think that Molu hanged himself when he went on Spoon prior to the president's inauguration. The things he said, it brought a check.
That where the disconnect came from.
Yes.
The people got upset with him.
Right.
And unfortunately, he never had anybody in the system to mend the offenses. So that becomes of it. So right now, that interview, they found out that it was something other folks in the system believe. There was some sort of setup to allow him to throw all of the red meat, the kitchen sink at the government, which of course no government wants to be demonized. No government wants to be pictured as, whatever kind of way and stuff like that. So
But my thing is too is, where is the disconnect between Stanton Waterspoon and the old man? That's where I'm now, because it seems like he's disconnected.
And I said it the other day, and he was part of a group system, a group chat.
Okay.
When Joseph Boyka was a Kennedy, it's quite different when he is a president.
Thank you.
When you are a president, you become, or when you are head of an institution or a group, but in his case, for discussion purposes, for us to be clear and fair with our audience, he's no longer a Kennedy.
No.
He's a president. And unfortunately, Mr. Waterspoon, he didn't understand that.
No.
That when someone is a president, when it's a head of a nation, the type of communication, the type of conversation that was held yesterday is quite different from the conversation that will be held today. Boyka took a risk. Yeah, he took a risk. The risk in the context of this country here and everywhere. We all know we are public figure in our own domain. We talk about people can talk about us equally, proportionally. I was in the courtroom in a lot of the Fort Worth. And it was quite interesting what I listened, what I saw, heard from his lawyer, Natalie. Very smart lady. Prosecuted a very effective case that still got Mr. Waterspoon to be around. And her argument is not like she was building something false. That's not what I'm saying, but she was saying something. And his defense team really did what it's supposed to do. And she was so smart to the extent that when the other guy took a stand, his lawyer screwed up to allow, how to call them, witnesses or people to get a name for it, I just forgotten the name, to take the stand. And she was quickly to recover from that. She didn't allow his people. But all her argument was, which of course, what is true, the way he says a thing is a different thing. Whether it is true, it is false, I'm not looking at that. We can look at all of that. But the presentation in America is such a place that the belief in the rule of law or democracy, anyone who feel that they promote democracy, the rule of law, and all of that, they take that as a face value. And that's exactly. And she was very much not just something, but she was illustrative in her argument. Some of the programs, the follower of the network, how is popular. And this guy hosts a major new platform, which of course is true. And remember, election was in the making.
Definitely.
So,
which helped to the process.
Yeah. So, and they presented the government as the Goliath in the room. And there's a need, this Goliath here needs to be cut down. So the argument was, if we allow this guy in the process of consequential elections, where Liberians all over were listening to get the news, to be able to make informed decision, to allow this one guy, even though there was a crime committed, to allow this one guy and for democracy to derail in a country that already went through a bloodbath, it's dangerous to the country. That would be an injustice.
Totally agree.
And the Lord Judge stood out there. He said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." And then they went to God can bless anybody, which of course he conducted. And I think there was some sort of fundraiser with, helping somebody either tumor or something. So they properly executed and fought the case. So, Your Honor, while it is true my client SYZ, allowing him this time would be a disservice to millions of other Liberians who count on this network to make small girl. But she made a case.
And the law is reasoning.
Oh, yeah.
That is what the law is, reasoning.
Yeah, so, I mean,
It's not left with the judge discretion.
Yeah, so at this point, it's for the judge. Even though the government, the other prosecutor were fighting, say it's inexcusable, but hey, you are in charge, you are in charge. And so, but it was a very wonderful. This is where I see it. This country, it doesn't matter. It's not how we look at things from outside. When something goes before the court of competent jurisdiction, the law will talk outside there at Tabata. The law don't look high like that. The law does not adjudicate you on circumstantial. No. The one facts, they want you to make your case. It must be convincing. They will look at the law. They will look at all different contexts, different form and shape, and see whether it is appealing, and see whether the judge decision will it be harmful to other millions of people because of Alfonso or Terry has done something. So to draw that line of reason, making their good judgment. So it's not a way we think in Liberia, Alfonso killed. So say Alfonso killed them, okay, Alfonso now, Alfonso must go to court. Why you think when somebody do this thing, they still allow them to defense thing? So they gotta get the outside of the story.
Right.
So I mean, it is what it is. So I think there's a disconnect. And it was interesting. That picture. Well, we had a conversation here before, but then I began to realize when the president came, the reason he visited Mr. Waterspoon in the middle of that, because his defense team was trying to make a point to validate his argument, how important he is to the process at the time were ongoing.
So that visit were all playing in.
Of course, because the defense team made the argument there.
Right.
Say, yes, we agree he did what? But when he came,
that guy is smart.
He visited. So
and he took a picture.
Yes.
Yes.
So those things, and according to her, about 100 and some more recordings, both from USA, Liberia, Australia, and Europe. That's how you put your propaganda or whatever you think it is, because I say, yes, we do not want this thing. We understand he did X, Y, Z, but at this time, we do not want to see this happening, because if it happens, it will harm us as a people, as a nation. Now, tell me, if you were a presider, if you have, they just requested the law, they just requested for 5, and the quadruple is sending over 100 messages, audios, voicemails, and different messages, and all of that. Now, tell me, if people send those kind of things to you, you are judge. Come on, for God's sake.
Yeah. You will consider.
So,
especially looking at American foreign policy and what they believe in, the rule of law, democracy, and all that.
Yeah. So we're saying all of these things is part of the system, the rule. But I think he didn't realize after all of these things, there was a need to slow down. Perhaps, I don't know, they want us maybe some quick result or quick happening from the president. Now, when you become a president now, then you get your advisors.
But I heard a propaganda, I don't know how true it is, about rest. Do you think that might have been some, do you think that might have been some sticky issue that he wanted to be a major supplier of rice and all of that to the economy?
those were conversations we all heard, but they felt that it was impossible. And I think knowing limited information about it, limited in terms
Right.
of, I've never had the opportunity to ask him to talk to him about himself, but all of the people, what they're saying, they felt that it was not a good thing to do, even though there were some other folks who were pushing it. They felt that it was not a good thing to do because considering, because if they are even, and I think there was one of the disagreement, I want to believe to see all that is playing out now. I think that's where one of the disconnect came from with event that we are now, because when this whole thing
Oh,
burst out, so other school of thought will say, okay, we're right to take this decision because if we had done this, seeing what is happening now, that will put real dent on the government in terms of the government not doing her due diligence, but they don't see it that way. So I think perhaps best thing to have done to put other people forward. In every society, in everything, you gotta have trusted people. But I don't think that happens because again, you don't want to put somebody there, everybody that SOI, you don't want to put somebody there before they
yeah.
screw you up. But I think that's why you're happy. And I said, like, if you're working with those Moja boys, they don't sleep. They think way ahead of you. And, and as a president, you have your ear eater. They say, well, yeah, we understand Terry did this, Terry was supportive, Terry gave money, Terry do this, but if we do this time around, it would not be a good thing for Terry. I mean, not Terry, it would not be a good thing for us. So when you have three, four voices kicking against one who might be there to push it, that is problematic. And then
Because that rumor came up, and right after the election,
we don't know, at some point in time, probably we'll get a no, but
right,
yes, disagreement. And when you get news, you have to, people got to learn how to hold news. It doesn't mean you're hiding it.
okay,
So when people
you're
confide,
waiting for,
most of this information, there was some insiders that were giving these, hey, happening, the Bawu, all of these people here, they get people in assistance. You can be the White House, Michael Haberman, that lady on CNN. They have people in assistance who trust you. And when people trust you and give you news, you can break it, but you can't
right.
do it hastily because you want to appease people. I think this is where the disconnect start coming from. People who are in the system, and he was kicked out, and so that got him upset as well. Because then and then that it becomes a little bit, what should I say, order for, order against. And so when you start getting information to your disadvantage, as it used to fall, it's not happening now. That is a problem. So government is inside big. So I think there are a lot of things going on, but who knows? Nothing has. It's gonna take a time to know it. But
Oh
it
yeah,
just
it's going to certainly come up because he's not going to change. And I see him going deeper and deeper. And in fact, he was to host the boss from under the NPA the last time, and the guy did not show up. The program was never held. And then, out of anger, he decided to pursue Molu, knowing very well that he wanted Molu to spill the beans. And Molu did just that, what he wanted Molu to do. And because apparently he was angry that this guy he have set up for him to come on the show to explain a lot about the CTM and MedTech, all of that, and the MPA. This guy did not show up. And apparently, I think that it came from the higher ups that don't go on that man's show. So
so you
apparently, that what made him angry.
let me ask you, you as a supporter of President Boyka, are you unhappy with the way he doing stuff or what?
Well, I will not say I'm unhappy, but I'm not too
Is he?
satisfied with some of
Is he?
his.
Were you certified then?
Well, yeah, when he started first.
No, I mean when let's say when it was in the favor when he as a candidate, whatever that was happening, were you certified then? That's what I'm asking you.
When Waterspoon was controlling things.
Not controlling. I wouldn't say controlling, but when he was speaking out vehemently in the interest
First of
of
all, Mr. So we said a thing on the show here that Waterspoon was not a guy that you can trust because He controlled, he was feeding from both sides. He was feeding from CDC, he was feeding from Unity Party, and he was not sure which side he wanted to lean on, and he was more leaning on CDC side. But the CDC boys, they totally dropped him. They distanced themselves from him, and especially when that crisis came up, they really dropped him. But Waterspoon, if they had not dropped him, Waterspoon would have destroyed Booker leadership. Because Waterspoon knew everything about President Booker. To an extent, he was giving Booker monies that we didn't even know that he was giving Booker to Henry Costa. So just imagine if Waterspoon had not pivoted, what would have happened to President Booker if he had brought up those allegations against President Booker in the middle of the elections? Then by now we're talking different story. And that is where
it was good. It was to your advantage that time, right?
Yes, it was to our advantage because I said it. I said anybody Waterspoon support, their person will win the election because he know too much. This dude been paying for information. Today again, confirmed it on his show that he can pay for information.
So the CDC regretted it lately.
Right.
It was last year, around October, and I wanted to have a conversation with Madu. But you know, their own, sometimes they don't know how to approach things and they become more or less reactionary. So you know, when something by you, when you see dry, you think that it's the same thing.
You see later, you see that snake.
Yeah, I'm going to, you can talk, and at the end of the day, you know, people get into troubles. But I think I want to quite agree. They fell apart, but they knew it was going to come. So I don't think the boycott folks, you know, they get a saying, who he rides the back of the alligator eventually goes into the belly of the alligator. So all of y'all riding that donkey. Now the donkey turn around, then you want to get upset. You see,
but
and few of the CDC people, they made a mistake. And that was when they were in good relationship. You know, money is something. Financial violence was applied.
Right.
He made sure he's secure. He knew the election was coming. And in order to get the voice, in order to get the ear of whoever want to do media, it was more important. People grew to news.
Right.
Some people were being
especially that time.
Yeah, people were being influenced what were coming from out of the news, coupled with the anger of the people seeing what was happening. So if we were a network that taking over the country, and they made a mistake by granting frequency that allowing them to buy all of these major news out there, the very Calando, Joy Calando, all of them saw his whatever it is. They were not considering, they were just looking at the surface at the time, well, everything would be for us. Without them having a contingency plan, will this thing last to the day end? Will we keep on course to get this year? They didn't consider, there were no backup plan. So everything did well. So guess what? His voice, his network predominantly took the airwave.
Okay. And what Wesley it, Mr. So
they get FM something, so they don't have to go on data. So
no,
people being heard on their phone, on televisions, online, and what you hear consistently on a daily basis plays
become a truth.
Yeah, plays into
your truth.
Yeah. So,
but Mr. So,
they wanted to take something from him. The law was, I mean. Then fear also came in. If we do this, people will feel that, oh, because they're saying the truth, so we don't want to do it. Even though other people are going, yeah, let's do this. So I said, no, we can't do it, because when we do it, we will be the bad guys now, because like we want to silence something. So that sort of inconsistency, indecisive decision we're playing into the system.
You already in the water, then you are afraid of cool.
That's what baptized now
you instead of you ban a man, that was what brother you ban a man, and that banning, if they have sustained it, it would have really helped them. But let what they did, they promoted the network even more. When they banned the network, then after the people made grumble, they were not even speaking, they were cut off. Then you went
people from going, and some of two there, I can't go there, but after when they found out that they were inflated, then they started there, they didn't want them to shoot them. And that was the mistake.
You promoted the network already.
That was the mistake because you know, people you can't jump into a fight with a media institution.
No.
Did that, you will be a victim because
especially in Africa.
Yeah, it's even here. You can't fight media because media have so many ways less of destroying people.
Look at Trump and CNN.
Yeah, you can't do it. When you do that, it will just why bring a guy from yeah,
get call it back.
Yeah,
no firing the deal.
Oh yes, I'm trying to get. Okay, this is what I want to do. Yeah, I don't know whether he's gonna get tired, but you can't have your guard though.
Well, Mr. So, Yeke is never nobody God. Yeke is his own God.
Wrong from your own thing. That's the thing about it. He own God.
He is own God. Yeke is nobody God. Yeke talking about President We Are today. You will ever believe that Yeke will be telling you about President We Are today, defending President We Are?
Yes, no, but there's other version of Yeke. Hey, Keto, good evening, welcome.
Thank you, good evening.
Keto, what's up, brother?
Terry. Good man, good to see you guys.
Yeah.
No, Yeke, except just what we're talking about, the temperament aspect. How to work with other people to get things done. That is not in the DNA of Yeke. Yeke, whether you agree or not agree, once you come in here, I listen to one of the interviews. I don't know. The other day you're talking, I don't know why I went to the board business. I say, I will let all of them go. I will not be doing board business. So the way I want to and talk. That's the kind of guy he is. So and one person think you can't just do it all.
No, you
Even
can't.
though he has some valid things that he can talk about, his expression, the way he reacts to stuff, the way he just thinks he should just do it. And so when
the man are your own man. They're not asking today the question. He started talking about Mandela Cooper, a loving talk to about a boyfriend. Yeke is that guy is a trip. I'm telling you, Mr. So. He can be saying something sound, all of a sudden he would divert and go to something completely different from what is really on a discussion. So, I think Yeke got some serious something, but he's not
doing things, but I don't know. Yeah, other things happening.
And right now he's making it difficult for him because President Boka's regime is not a President We Are regime. President We Are regime made Yeke popular. President Boka's regime is not going to give credence to Yeke. When he talk, they're not going to look for him, send police on him, that what President We Are used to do, threaten him. Those things can make the person popular. So President Boka not going to do that. What they will do for Yeke, when he go beyond Ogeren, they will park behind him, they will send people to take a picture. Then they put it on social media to denigrate him. You see? Then he get vexed. Then he will be talking, and don't think the people will not move. And he will not pay you no mind. And once the president is not giving you that credence, the popularity will drop. If you look at Yeke now, the popularity has dropped. Because President We Are, that the senior president We Are did to Henry Costa. During early time, Henry was not that popular. But during President We Are time, he went after Henry. And when you are president, you start to do that. You give the person popularity. You see, President Boka is not going to do that. If you're a media institution, you go after him. He's not going to go after you that way. He's going to do it in a systematic way that will bring your network down differently that he hear when it will look as if he hear now inside. That is how political leaders play the game. But President We Are did not understand all these kind of shenanigans.
I like to hear Terry make himself feel happy in the Unity Party team. President Weah did not run after Henry Costa. Henry Costa, they did what a political genius as far as the opposition did in Liberia. They curtailed things and put it out there in the public space for people to believe that the government were after him. Remember when he said a radio station will break into, and he put all that scene out there, make it seem like people were targeting him. Nobody was targeting him. He came up with his own story.
Hold on, is a radio station or not?
Hold on.
Okay, I will hold on.
His own story. He came up with his own story and put it out there. The same when we what he need like Beyond Spoon, Tupa, and what the guy need on Spoon. The guy that ran to the border and said the government after him bringing back Ava Tupa. The same thing. All of them did their own thing to make make President Weah government go down. Like, President Weah government will wait.
So, Keto, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, well, let you finish now. You're on your Tabata intro.
Yeah. I'm stopping from coming ever since we're having our next. So, what I want to say to you, Keto, can I ask you this question? So, how did President Weah reinstall Henry Costa? You listen to Henry Costa when Henry Costa said President Weah called him and told him that all his equipment will be given back to him? You listen to that one?
Listen to me. There was the second time when Henry Costa radio station was going on a legal matter when they could order the people to take the equipment. I'm not talking about that time. I'm talking about the first time Henry Costa said his station was burglarized. But
we're not talking about only the first time. We said the president went after this guy. That what made him popular.
Hold on. You see, that's the problem. The president did not go after Henry Costa. The only person I heard President Weah, and the two things that President Weah said about people that were saying bad things were insulting him when he went to dedicate that market and when he made Prophet Key relevant. That the two people I heard.
So what about the one where he said he was going to slap that Peking walking toy, he would slap him when he was in his church. When he said that Peking walking toy, you just see the man, you just slap him. Who he did was referring to?
Let me tell you one thing here. What a President Weah was saying something out of that. Look at it kind of picking at me, talking to me. That somebody that I can just come and wave that out. You are not intentionally going after him. But let me tell you, like, in this
you gave the man relevance.
Hold on now. In this identical government, where said a government official in this government openly said they will crack down on media for speaking out, for making the government to look bad, that investment will not come to the country. All right? This identical government been saying it over and again. Let me tell you something here.
Keto, you always like to divert from the issue on a discussion. You always like to take a different place.
Because this is where
like you made a point. I'm enjoying your conversation saying
this is where you guys get it wrong. President Weah is no more president of the Republic of Liberia. This is Joseph Boakai time. And that's what today I was listening to Spoon and Mame came on. He and Stanton tried to do damage control. After they gave this guy, John Molu, the airway to come out and make Joseph Boakai government look so terrible. And said to the Liberian people, if Joseph Boakai continue going like this, they paved the way for George Weah to be in 2019.
That's the only thing that Keto love you.
Hold on, it resonated with a lot of Nigerians.
It wake you up, Keto. That thing wake you up. 2 times now you appear straight in row on LPR. Because
brother, I've been on LPR long before you. So
no, I agree. But you have not been coming regularly. I like to see you coming regularly.
Because of my
I like to see your face.
So that's the thing, right? My thing is when I listen to the Shakara being saying, look at today, he managing the conversation completely to there are people who want to remove Fanatic Kofa from being.
But what they were talking about, that's true.
What a true inside, brother.
But it's a representative came and admitted.
The man said because of what they are trying to do, the other thing that they're trying to do, I mean, in the house there, some United Party people, some independent, and some sedition don't want it to happen. But let me tell you now, Stanton and Mame were putting on a narrative that President Weah is threatened. Fanatic Kofa is popular. Fanatic Kofa may probably push President Weah off or challenging in the coming election.
Look, let me just tell you what people don't know. You can't just cut through the corridor with President Weah and that of Fanatic Kofa. Fanatic Kofa was the chief architect of the president concessions, even making a speech. If you don't know, I'm just telling you now.
Yeah, but
Fanatic Kofa was by the president's side when the president was making a speech, that concession. I believe most likely, if President Weah decides not to recontest, which we don't know, anything can happen, and to see his party coming back to be like a godfather of the party. This is why Fanatic Kofana is being more moderate. He did not want to see being very obstructive to the government, but at the same time, also putting the fine line to make a good political argument when the time comes in term when he decides to contest, that he will have a reference, he will have some flashback that he will reference. When I was speaker, this is what I did, this is what I did. So CDC right now, he could be one of the potential, you never know, they could work across the aisle and get somebody that who is not part of, who has not been or is not a strong fanatic of CDC in a bit to rebrand the party. Because the first folks, the president didn't do bad. He brought some of those people, but they were just very dishonest to him. They were not willing to work, and he allowed.
That is what Kettleton don't want to admit.
He allowed it to, and that's the problem. And that's why it's the same thing we are having here. You have multiple people who are speaking on behalf. You have Kalasco or A talking for the president, city mayor disregard his work for the city ordinances,
right.
Make sure the city is okay. They were saying whether they would march anytime they want to march and make some reckless statement, and the president did not take any action. Now, when people are doing that, let's take it back to even the Samuel Doe time, where you see Harrison Piano and maybe other people who were the inner cycle of then Samuel Doe. Does it mean that every other thing they were doing was it with the acquiescence of the president? But African presidents, traditionally leaders, they have these people who likes to take the ultimate gamble to do their dirty work, to make them to be like a strong person. Remember, already we're opening the phone line, to do what they want to do. So they will sit, they enjoy it, they allow it to play out, but only to find out that these people they run ahead of their shadow, and then it become a damaging thing for them. That's what happened to the president, because people he thought that they all suffer together, those that were blessed to be incorporated, they took advantage of his kind.
Definitely.
This is where the leadership fell below the belt, because there should be a time you should discipline, you should take action. What happened when national experts came to Liberia with all of those things here? Alvin Guy June was one of the close confidants of the president. But when those experts came for that audit and things started going and all of that, international pressure mounted, people were dissatisfied, things started happening. What happened? Samuel Doe immediately removed Guy Jones. But yet didn't stay, because being that he get the ears of Guy Jones, he took Guy Jones from finance and carried him to the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs.
Right.
There were a lot of things people were doing things. Magid and what they were doing, it was right, it was wrong, I don't know. But the fact of the matter, there was no reshuffle. He did not take some strong administrative decision or stand. So people say, okay, yeah, since he's not talking, since he's not saying anything, whatever these people are doing, maybe he's giving the mandate. Maybe he's asking them to do it. Maybe they are the people that are doing this dirty work. So people think out of the box and draw those conclusions. At the end of the day, we'll see what happened. This is what happened.
And that's exactly.
Yeah. So
that's exactly what.
So yeah. Quickly, get off, please. Mm-hmm. But lately, when you listen to the former president, some of his preaching at his church, he felt at that time he was out of office. So That way he finds comfort in putting some of these things out. We heard him was saying plenty of things, people that are there, people who are there abroad. So he found there was a sense of betrayal by the same very people he thought were they were in his, he was in his favor, but they were not doing things, they were not honest to him, they were not raising their finger to say, yeah, Mr. President, this is so, but they were not telling him. And everything, he just felt what was happening, it was good. And we
I
saw
agree,
what.
and I agree with you. I agree with you. But this the same thing that Molu is saying today to us. I mean, he printed out some people in President Bwaka administration that President Bwaka is, I mean, giving cover to. You understand? He talked about the chief of staff. He talked about another guy in government, you know, that doing some shady things. He even mentioned this guy, the guy who is his legal advisor, calling a judge to drop a case that he got no business by being part of. It's like the legislator, I mean the executive now is dictating to the judicial branch of government as to who to punish and who not to punish in the country, or who to go through the legal processes and who not to go through it. So I think he was putting these things out there, and because of that, I think and I heard you at the beginning of the show how it has caused a lot of concern within the executive, the president, his people that are mad. Yeah, they will be mad. They will be mad because they should know Molu. Molu is standing for what he always stood for. When you're Ellen, now I hear Ellen Johnson fell apart and he left. He brought Joseph Boyka not doing those things that he Molu, feel they're supposed to be doing. So now Joseph Boyka and some of his people are mad at Molu. But Molu was speaking the truth. If you take for example, look at this guy, Chris.
It was not even the government of paying money, so money don't care.
Yeah,
He had a contract, and he was just there doing a job. So you're not going to call his salary. That's the same thing. Even the money captain. Why you think Joseph Boyka can remove captain? The international community used to strongly believe captain is the only. And that's what I'm saying. When you promoting somebody agenda, for God's sake, you need to talk to them and see where they stand on certain issues. If I supporting Boyka, I should understand if I'm supporting Boyka and I want to be his real actual mouthpiece, I would know what he agrees with, what he doesn't agree with. So if I know all of the do's and don'ts, things that he doesn't like, I'm not going to talk it here.
That's true. That one I totally agree.
Yeah. The people say money captain. They're not government like bro paying money captain. So what are you and myself talk until our mouth go beyond our ear? Oh, he's not supposed to be there. The president was in this building and current went up, this and that. So what? So when you buy more money captain, you are indirectly talking to the president. Then the president going to get upset. So wait a minute. Is he for me or is not for me? Who is he? Where does he stand on issue? Why? It's not the government of Liberia paying him. For some reason, the people that pay him confide and trust this guy. He can do it. Whether current is being rational, whether it's not there, you do not know the inner. This is why when you supporting somebody, you need to know what they stand for, what they agree with, what they do not agree with. But when you just put all in that basket of deplorable, and you take the reactions of the public, like the liberal type way of doing stuff, and you just come, you say you want to dump that out, and say, oh, this guy said he's not really for us. He not understand what is happening. If you're not in the government is a very deep institution. If you're not there, you will never know. Until you get there, and you say, oh, I can just see it from the surface. But inside,
and that is why
inside the chamber it can be some conversation. So, just how we blame President, we are on something. We will also blame President Boyka because he told us things would not be the same as usual. Now, from what we are hearing, if investigation proves it to be the fact that even the AB Chroma, I'm just saying some of these things here, you are in charge, you put him there. If the GSA and the president did not realize, or when did they get to be informed that this guy was bringing in people who did not go through the process of the civil servant and were just paying in there? And I listened to some of his ridiculous conference that he was paying people for a pocket. Come on, give me a break. They are not your security people. Why will you pay people from your pocket? These are flaws and these are mistakes. If they not address it, we saw Copper Crack on to administrate there. He did things on his own, moving people. We hear what is happening now with Larry Tropa. People, they are writing. We are not hearing anything for it. So if these things continue to go on consistently, and the president cannot act, and it goes off hand, we will also hold him responsible because it happens on his watch. He is the one that put in there. And whatever thing that is done, if he doesn't act on it, then we'll say, well, it is with his advice and consent.
Exactly, Mr. So we that's the reason why we from that camp will definitely be here to highlight all the mistakes.
Okay, let me welcome Mr. Nambwe. Mr. Nambwe, good evening. So,
hey, Mr.
Yeah, trust me, we're going to have a great night here. The most troublesome old man, the bottle is not on stage this evening. Nobody is here. But why did God bring a gun? Why he bring army to
Yeah, he tried to. I don't know. Maybe he want to attack me. You know the sedition.
That's one thing Samson told can always tell them. The question is, yeah, you're the one give this guy.
Then he wearing military shirt.
And then he brought it in. I came on set. So
Mr. Nambi, you have no fear. The fear should be Terry.
Your veteran, you want to show us here to intimidate.
But listen, I apologize for coming late. I was tired of, but it's good to be here with you guys.
Yeah, that's okay. We know anything going on here. Good evening, Mr. Nabi. Look, we were just talking, and the Boyka folks are not happy with Molu. Molu's appearance, multiple people that we have talked to. You know that these Moja boys, the Moja, the same is they are the people of the same type. You either agree with them, you either work with them, or they literally see you as the enemy of the state. You know, like family, then their history. When they don't want you in the area, go way back of Matthew. They are progressive, but they have those ideology. We saw what happened with he and David Faha. For Samuel Dotan, you say, yeah, this for them. The difference is only nowadays, but those guys, those that will tell you, say, I can't work with this man. They tell you, they told Samuel, even though Samuel was a military man, but they looking at here and said, these people must say can't work. So the only choice, the alternative, they take them, they care them other places. See what we're saying here, if it is proven to be right, our own guy, Larry Toba, some of the things that he's doing now, that get ready, you sack director, you move people for whatever reason because they disagree with you, and it's not based on the people violating policies of the institution, but people taking laws into their hands, then we are literally coming back to some of the things that we frown on. And if this president doesn't come out to speak against it or national government to address all of these issues, then that's a serious concern.
Well, it's good to be here. For full disclosure, I am of the camp that you're describing. I'm a UPP man. So I am a
Moja.
Gabriel Bacchus Matthews pupil and protege. And so I've also I've had lots of contacts with my brothers from the Moja LPP camp in the presence of Larry Toba. You're talking about, and other people. I have to say too, I read last week's story, I believe it was on Front Page Africa, about the alleged attempt by Professor Larry Toba to introduce militancy at the Good Governance Commission. And several things were mentioned. That didn't sound like the Larry I know, and I haven't talked to him about this. So Yeah, but I do know that Rodney C. He does do a pretty good, balanced reporting. So I'm concerned about that. I hope it is not true. Um, but I don't know if the appearance by Malu and the pushback that he's getting has anything to do with the progressive camp, because I don't think that many progressive.
Oh, yeah, the progressive
I
again.
don't think there are that many progressives in the Buckeye government. I mean, yes, Anthony Kessley is there, and Samuel Kofi Woods maybe.
So
Uh, so
the progressive want to be politically correct. Samuel Kofi Wu,
yeah.
Larry, Wayne, Anthony, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, the Ministry of
Yes, sir.
President. Then you say, I mean, come on, Mr. Nabi.
Well,
These are people that are around the
let's
president.
bring it right here. Let's bring it home. I mean, Terry pushed back very very strongly against John Mullen last night. I'm getting to know Terry yet, so I don't know if he's of the progressive camp. But I am saying to you that the pushback that John Mullen is getting, I don't think it's been driven by the progressives as much as it is being driven by the sympathizers and supporters of this current government, and that will include the circle that Terry falls in. I think John already said a lot, and I think from the reaction I got from Terry, and pushed me into going back to play the whole thing. My wife was listening to it, so I did listen to it today, and he did say a lot, you know. And to be honest, he didn't sound like an angry person. He was just telling it like it is. All the pieces of advice that he is giving to this president, the suggestions he made, and everything seems to have fallen flat without without this president paying him any mind. And some of the things he talked about, we've seen them on display in slow motion. Right.
Yep.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I join you guys. So they say when you come to church late, you don't raise the song, right? Because they may have already sung that song.
Well,
So
in the interest of fairness, but like what we were saying, Mr. Number, you are quite correct because our politicians, they are not used to this sort of boldness, people to tell them the truth.
yes.
This is why we do not have institutions in the country. Because even if you came out, if you're part of a party, you came out to be the voice to speak against ills, wrong thing, wrong policy, or things not getting right. Guess what? Terry, Marseille, and Keto will gang against you, and we'll go to the leader. Be careful with Mr. J. Victor Nangbe. Victor Nangbe, our understanding, we have been told, is not, he professed to be one of us, but he's not.
Right.
Listen to his voices, listen to things that he has saying, watch and see. And so when you continue to push these things, even though you stand for facts, and then this bring into questions where is the efficacy of politicians, we in the media, analysts, what do we stand for? What we really believe? It's lacking. It's lacking.
Yeah,
So
but
it is. So these things by Malu, even though he's saying it, but it gives edge to other people who don't want to see him even coming in the system because perhaps when he comes, they're going to be a victim of his actions, his administrative action, which of course would be which would be not a bad thing, but the CA, no, this guy here, when we bring him here, he will cause trouble. He will do this. He will harm us. Alligator, the cat will eat your own baby. So
Right.
that's why it's happening.
yeah,
And this is an extension. I'm sorry, Jerry, you're coming to
yeah.
me.
Go ahead, go ahead.
But
We've been talking plenty.
this
So
is an extension of the exchanges between Terry and myself last night. And John Molo, and I didn't listen to him, but I listened to him. And he talked about the diaspora involvement. The part of the problem we have in Liberia is the primary problem is most people go in government to enrich themselves. And so their commitment becomes, tied to their benefit, how much they benefit. And so whenever they have to act, the calculation is based on that. And this is why most times they are not capable of standing up to the leader and telling them the truth. So John Malu doesn't seem to fall in that category. He's an independent man, you know. I listened to what he said. For instance, one of the examples he gave was when he was invited to help with the campaign. He asked for a term of reference. He requested a letter, as opposed to what Miata family did when she was asked to run the inauguration. So he is able to speak truth to power because his calculation is not based on whether he will get fired the following day or not. And a lot of the people from the diaspora community, I think they will find themselves in that. Yes, Terry did mention that most of the problems we experience are usually, derived from people who come from the diaspora. But there's some very good people who come from the diaspora and helped out in Liberia. And he used the case of Jerry Rawlings, how the diaspora was able to help Ghana become where they are today. So I just wanted to throw that in. But Terry,
Yeah, so you see, yeah, Mr. Victor, Mr. Nangwe, Honorable Nangwe, I'd like to call you. Or
you can call me Victor, whatever it is.
No. I like to call you Honorable. What you earn is lasting forever on you and all of that. What I want to say is that, I don't have a problem with Molu. I was one of those guys on the Sim Network, if you go by and listen to some of the video, that told Labor on his show that I'm scary because I don't see Molu on the team.
Mhm.
I was one of those who highlighted those things.
So who? Told who?
The Labor on his show that I asked him, I said, Labor, are you not afraid that Molu is not on the team? I asked him that question. And he said, go back, ask Labor, he will tell you. Because I knew that something was boiling. But what I want to, so I don't have problem with Molu. What I have problem with was with his statement. And somebody can be very calm talking, but they are angry. And because they are intellectual, they can control their anger, but express it in the way they speak. So, and that is what I saw in Molu. Or what his name? Amara. Amara is angry, but Amara have not put everything, and Amara had not attacked or said something like what Molu said the last time. I was one of those when Amara spoke on the Spoon TV on few Sundays back. I came on the scene show and I supported Amara position.
Okay.
Amara spoke cleverly and he laid things out. But the things that Molu said that I had problem with was that saying that the Pape signed the World Economic Crime Code, it's not real, it's not authentic.
Okay.
That is what I had problem with, and that the way the Pape is going, President Weah is going to come back, blah blah blah. So, and those are the two things that made me to believe that he was angry. He was speaking from the position of frustration. All right, and I will keep saying it because that is what I observed psychologically.
But I don't think those two things were declaration from Molu, right? They were all conditional. He said, if the president continues in this fashion, President Weah will make a comeback. If the president is serious with the war code, crime code, there is a letter on his desk that he needs to send to the United Nations. I think that's how he phrased those two.
Yeah, but in the end, he said it's not. He said nothing will come out of it. Did you listen to that? He said nothing is going.
I already missed that.
He spoke definitively, like to say he already knew that the whole thing is not going to work.
So Terry, this is the thing. He said openly. He didn't just quote how Joseph Walker went and pushed this thing on. Through a speech that he will declare and even call. He said because Joseph Walker was even dragging his feet. That's how. What a guy named Alan White. That's how Alan White set him up with a recording. That recording was come out.
So Keto, Joseph Walker will be dragging his feet, but in his speech, his inaugural speech, he put it in his speech that war and economics crime code will be his priority. Brother, is that what you're trying to tell me? You want me to buy that?
The first thing I will tell you, right? So let me tell you one thing.
Somebody calling from Liberia. Hello.
Mr. Saul.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Good evening.
Can you hear me? Are you using Chinese phone? I'm not hearing you. Hello? Hello?
All right, you're using Channel 4. Please announce to the audience that the liberal, you're sitting in for the liberal tonight, and you allow Carter to come in and spill some venom again tonight against my president, the sitting president, the most wonderful president we ever had, and you're going to allow Walter Carter with his CDC hatred to come and spill some evil again on LPR.
Can you call back? We're not hearing you.
We are hearing you very clear. We are hearing you loud and clearly, bro.
My phone turned to Channel phone tonight, and I hearing the battery said dying now.
Okay. So, but look, what Molu said yesterday. I think you guys need to go and listen to it. It's just exactly where Victor stated. Molu said, if, for example,
right.
And not only that, he also stated that the president, he needs to change course because there are certain things he has done since he took power that are not in line with what he said he was going to do when he was running campaign. So there's nothing wrong with that. Now, the war crime court issue, he said, look what's happening. I believe, and I'm just paraphrasing that this thing is not going to go anywhere because if he real serious, there's a letter on his desk. Let him take it to the UN, and then the UN is going to start some process. Then we know it's going to go. Other than that, this thing is not going anywhere. So basically, he's saying these are if. He's not saying this thing is not going to go anywhere because the line. No, that's not what he's saying. He's simply saying there are process, and some of the process are lacking. And as long as these processes are not put in place, then why should we believe that this thing is going to happen? And that's why he said Alan White is angry. So if you listen to that, that was just
okay. I think liberal, that's a very good. You get a good side and you get a bad side. The day you decide to be good, you can be perfect. But again, people can rely on you. But this is not what folk like Terry and Jerry Bacon wants to hear. And this is where you get a divided role because he's just speaking not just on his mind, but he's saying something that is visible. For God's sake, here we are. How long should we go with this? If this is something that the president wants to add.
Mr. So, let me just give it to you as straight as I can.
Okay, bye. My battery is dying.
No.
My battery is dying.
Right now, no. I will put your man. I will sanction your man if you got before me. All of that was sanction there.
So liberal, we're getting reports that they took your water bottle away. That's why you couldn't come on the show.
Well, that is a problem. Look, this is how I'm going to put it. There's a rumor that was going around during the campaign that somehow they've been contributed to President Baka, that he said that if the devil would make me to be president, I will go with the devil. Look, President Baka is quite aware that all of these people, he was associating himself with Costa did whatever he had to do. So Baka know exactly, President Baka know exactly what these people are saying. Now, what I know that's going to happen, what I suspect will happen, President Baka is not going to let any of these people dictate to him what it is and what it's not going to be. President Baka, you see him like that, he said, don't see the man sleeping. He said, the man sleeping, he's looking at you. He's determining you. So that's exactly what this old man is about. Now, we all might not agree with the way the like of Monu will come out small and make these kinds of statements. It's a saying, and Monu is not a Congo man. I'm sorry to say, he wasn't born in Mongolia. This guy was born in the countryside. And in the countryside, there's a saying, you don't take the devil, you finish dressing. Then you go outside, then you want to undress the devil. You can't do that. Oh. So that's why most people are not happy with Monu. Those kinds of conversations Even if you want to insist, go around the old man, he's your uncle, and continue to insist. If the old man is not listening to you, you get his wife involved. If they are not listening, there are other
This
people
guy,
who
did you
President
get a
Biden will
wife?
listen
Can you
to.
imagine? Can you imagine?
A wife?
Are you listening to the labor
My
tonight?
battery is running
Wow.
out. Bye.
Okay, all right.
Bye.
Okay, bye. I'll listen to you. Bye.
My battery is dead. It's not going to pick
So, Mr. So, can I push back on some of the things that Liberal said in regards to that video that we listened to, that we all listened to? Because the idea here is that I'm not saying that Molu did not say or use some of the if words. I'm saying Molu proximity to the president and saying on live television these things in regards to the War and Economics Crimes Court jeopardizes the entire process of the War and Economics Crimes Court. Molu is literally saying that the War and Economics Crime Court is not going anywhere. So if you guys are saying, oh, because he used the if word, that means he's saying if. No, especially for men like Molu, he knows exactly what he's saying because of the proximity he served.
Did you hear him use if?
Yeah, he used the if word, but then he went to the extent of saying that nothing will come out of it. Definitively.
It's not a condition that he's setting.
Well, it seems like it's a condition, but it's not. He's not saying, he's not giving a condition. He just used the word if because he believes that he wants to be on the side where people will say, okay, he may say if. Now, that's why I said earlier that Molu is an educator. He's an educated guy. And he knew exactly what he was saying. And he knew exactly it was going to cause rift because he already have settled in his mind and concluded that I'm not going to work with this man government because this man have already proven it to me that I'm not going there. So out of frustration, he decided to come. Before the Molu went on our show, Senator Waterspoon even said it. He said people have been calling Molu to tell him not to go. And Molu said he's going. And it was confirmed that Molu was going. Molu had already made up his mind to come up and expose a lot of things. And these things have been breeding for a long time. And the era I have problem with when he said, oh, if, like he used the word, if President Boyka continue like this, President Weah will return. Now, how can you, Mr. Molu, say that when you was the very same person who said that this President Weah is inept and he's corrupt, he this, he that, he the other. This you said that.
Terry.
This is the same President Weah who said that, you know, in America, he said that Liberia are coming. I give you guys a chance to speak. Okay, can I just land my thought? Then you are coming. Okay. So Molu said, President Weah said when you were in the States to the Liberians in the diaspora, he said that Liberia is like Miami. That's how the name Miami came about. So everybody, so if Molu says that why he couldn't say that, oh, if President Boyka continue like this, Liberian people may look for somebody else. Liberian people may go to the way of Cummings. Liberian people may go to the way of this person. Liberian people may go to the way of this person. But he said Liberia will return back to President Weah.
Oh my God.
So my thought was, I didn't say President Weah is a bad person.
Is he an alien? Is he an alien?
No, listen now. I'm saying from the position of what Molu supported, from the ideology and the concept that Molu defended and supported, for him to digress in his final conclusion that if President Boyka failed, that Liberians will go back to President Weah, that means that he is frustrated. That's my point of argument.
No, that's what Molu is saying. But again, I think Mr. Victor will come in. But Molu is just saying the probability. That's probability. That's what he's talking about. But you know, that's how we feel. And I know the language, the language you desire hearing from Molu, you feel Malu's argument is a hurt to your side, so of course you also have to restructure it and do it. But I think Mr. Nabi wanted to comment.
Yeah,
Mr. Nambe, give me 2 seconds of your
Sure,
time.
sure. Go ahead. I know the
So-
internet
so-
giving you
so-
a hard time. But go ahead.
Yeah. So Terry, I know. Right? So Terry,
They're using
let me tell you
CDC
something.
now. They
If you
out of
also
quarantine.
listen to Mr. Malu, and if you also listen to the laborer, President Weah is the most popular, the most loved person in our country. Let's put politics one side. What he was
How
saying,
he lost the election.
and President Weah voted against him because he didn't take some action they wanted him to take. They wanted him to do. And if somebody alluded that here, somebody said the same thing here. You understand? So President Weah defeated himself because when the sedition was crying that look, Mr. President, people are right now doing X, Y, Z. People are right now doing this. He didn't listen. Mr. Sosa said the same thing. He should have taken action. He should have reshuffled. He should have done this. He didn't do it. He defeated himself. What Molu was saying yesterday, if Joseph Boaka, who the Liberian people felt that, okay, that man will come and do the right thing. If he does not do it, he continue doing what he's doing, he open the door again for President Weah to come back. I think it's logical. It's reasonable, Mr. Nangwe.
Thank you, welcome, Mr. Kettle. So I just wanted to remind my brother Terry here, and like I said, we're just getting to meet. So I don't know what pedigree. I'm sure he knows his game, and so I'm not attempting to advise him. But I tell you this: I've been at this for over 40 years. I come from the UPP, the PPP and UPP camp. We always look at the analytics, the numbers. What do the numbers tell us right now? Now, as we speak, the Unity Party and the CDC are the most popular parties right now in Liberia, and they're the strongest. The Unity Party is in leadership. The CDC is the strongest opposition. Even though I supported the CPP's bid for the presidency, I will tell you this: even the comments and all of that, the CDC is the strongest. And let's not forget, the elections, this president beat President Weah by less than 25,000 votes.
Margin of error.
Right? So the margin there is very thin. And what John Malu is saying, he said, if elections were held today, he's not saying 5 years down the road. He said, if elections were held today, President Weah will win. And he is...
Again, that's his opinion.
So John came in as he came in to advise, to urge the president to course correct. In fact, he used that word, the correct course. He used that identical word. He is saying if the president and the team, the party continue in this fashion, they stand to lose the election. Not only did he just say these things, he cited examples to back up what he said. He said he wrote the president 5 different memos. And he described those things that presidents do that cause them to lose favor with the people. The lack of transparency. They run into the IMF. There are a lot of things that he cited that he said this president is already doing that he cautioned him against. Now, as for you saying he's upset or frustrated because he's not in the government, he said he's pretty busy. Man said he's advising 7 different governments. He's busy. He said he's not looking for a job, but the same way he supported Weah and he was disappointed, he supported Boaka. I honestly he raised some $500,000 or so for this campaign. So I think he wants the president to succeed. He even said that he wants his president to see, and he's concerned about his president's legacy. But he is sounding the warning that if he continues on this course, his legacy stand to take a hit. He may not have a legacy. And if I were you, really, that is something I would take kindly and sit down and take it apart and probably invite John in again and let him help us re-image and reimagine ourselves and begin to actually govern. The fact of the matter is, we all know almost 6 months in, this government has not found its way. I mean, from the bungo appointments, the tenure dismissal, to the travel with no report, to the reports of corruption in this government, from the Minister of State right on inauguration day going to NASCOR and getting money, All of these stories, the president has not done anything that we know about. If he's doing it privately, but we don't know the results. So John Molu is saying if he continues in this fashion, they're headed for trouble.
So let me say, Terry, let me say something. 1 minute. Let me say something, then you will come. Let me play in Molu's political mind. Maybe he didn't say it, but he was speaking in that sort of exhortatory special tone that it takes people to understand, to read his mind, what he was saying. Yeah, what he was saying. The if there, it attaches to so many things. For now, we know that George Weah, former President George Weah, is the presented potential candidate for CDC. Absolutely. Do you want to agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do we know who's going to be the potential candidate? Because there's nothing showing that if Joseph Boyka will test. I don't see it. So many factors, variable we can take into consideration. Two, the Unity Party government, we know it came into being with a collaborations of all political parties. We saw where Jeremiah Kuhn is coming to be the VP. Is similar to that of CDC coalition bringing in Joel Howard Taylor. So Molu is seeing in a different context. If things doesn't go the way we anticipate we want it to go, if possible, the coalitions, we all know what's going on between Joseph Boyka and what he didn't say, or what he didn't, Prince Johnson. And we know how crucial Nima is with this one here. When Jeremiah Kuhn go by, if Joseph Boyka or Unity Party, whoever they're going to be breaking, they will want to gain hold of Nimba County. So what happens if this relationship continues to be like this and it falls by the wayside, and that of MDR or whatever Unity Party cannot hold, guess what? Unity Party then will start all over to find two things will be involved, two factors going to come into play, which will be to the disadvantage of the Unity Party. They might be looking for candidate, and they might be looking for running mate. Unlike CDC, we can for now say, George, we are potentially could come back. The age is in your favor, everything is there, and who could possibly make a change to find different persons as a running mate to present a different phase and future of the CDC. So these are all of the things I believe Molu, without he putting it out, that is the reason he attaching that probability that CDC could be, because if Boyka don't have anything to lose. Boyka won, he can continue with the war chronicle. He won, he doesn't continue. After he says here, when he say he retire, guess what? That stigma is on Unity Party as a party that is not committed to her campaign promise. Who can go on the other side? You never know. You know they can hawk on the other side. Politicians, they can seal out the. Those are the things I think Molus were making reference to.
Well, Mr. So it's good. You are entitled to your view. From my perspective, obviously, obviously, I see things from a different lens.
They say the truth can hurt, man.
Yeah.
No, for me, I'm not hurting because I know that we have brought in a responsible government that is by far doing better than President Weah-led government. So when Molu even say that, if President Boyka continue down this route, so I don't know if you listen to Spoon TV today when the guy went into the marketplaces to interview people and the kind of things they were saying. There's a lady that they asked her concerning the I think the planting or something, and she said during any time the planting was 1,500, but during Weah time the planting was 4,000. So the boy asked her, but have it changed? Oh God. The boy asked her, have it changed? Oh, okay. The boy asked her, have it changed? She said no. It have not changed. All right. So people in the country are aware that this problem that they are facing right now was not created by President Boyka, number one. Number two, people understand that President Boyka have only been in power for 4 months, and there have been a rapid transition in many things in the country. Like, for example, you ask people in Maryland Highway, Grand Jida, and other places, they're not talking like the way you and I are discussing. The perception about the president right now has changed. So when Molu begin to say that if things go on like this, people will resume back to President I still doubt it. And Mr. Victor, Honorable Victor, are talking about the numbers. Numbers when it comes to politics varies. President if you observe President go by and check. President number did not improve during the elections. His number did not improve from the number incrementally. President Boyka number quadruple President Weah's number that he got I think in the 2017 election. If you compare 2017 election to 2023 election, you will find out that President Boyka number quadruple. And the only reason why that happened was because President Boyka and his people came into an alliance. And that is why I always tell Unity Party people, the media is trying to pull us something outside there for them to buy. And the media is telling them, say, this is the Unity Party-led government. This is not the Unity Party-led government. That is the same mistake CDC made. They told them, say, this is a CDC government when they know that that was not a CDC government. Unity Party should not accept that this is the Unity Party-led government. This is an alliance. This government in power is an alliance government. If they run with that mentality that this is the Unity Party-led government, they will be no different from CDC. This government is an alliance. They're in a collaboration with a lot of different political parties, and that what brought them to fruition. President Boyka used that strategy to come. If you look at 2017, what was lacking for President Boyka that propelled President Weah emerged with the MPP. What was lacking for President Boyka? Go and look at his Unity Party never had any alliance. They didn't join with nobody. That was the reason why they lost the elections. So elections is becoming competitive in Liberia. If you have the right mechanism and use the right strategy, you win. The reason why Mr. Cummings went 1%, he declined, was because Mr. Cummings did not align himself with, he never had an alliance. He was not able to successfully collaborate with the right category of politicians. And that is the reason why President Cummings lost the elections. So if you talk about numbers, look at President Weah numbers. President Weah numbers could not beat, and again, in 2029, anybody who's going to win the election, take this from me, you have to align yourself with the reputable institutions.
Please, you got a lawyer monitor. We're getting the audio back. Sorry, Terry. Please, lawyer monitor if you call in.
Once you align yourself, once your institution align itself, if that Mr. Cummings, that's why I've been advising Mr. Cummings that he could go to CDC or he could go somewhere. But if Mr. Cummings want to win election or anybody right now in Liberia, you have to align with certain key opponent, like the likes of Jeremiah Kuhn, the likes of Yombli Kanga Lawrence. All these people, you got to have that kind of alliance that will propel you to the next level. If you don't have that kind of alliance, no matter how popular you are, they will win you.
Okay,
they will win you. So President Weah is not an option for us in 2029 because, in my opinion, Liberian people have seen President Weah leadership.
Okay. So Nambe, please, let's take two callers here.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, it's 202 number. Good evening. What's your name and where you calling from? Let's make it brief as possible.
This is Regional Power.
Let hear you.
No, Terry. When you support that brother, do you dream by him?
What?
It is not be there for brother. Beyond even your parents or your children. You see people like what with a man that make you to be president. You are just on the fence. You're just tiny embarrassing or tiny embarrassing. People that will hold the man back, that will make a decision for him. Criticizing the man wrong, seeing the wrong of brother. Do you get all over defending things that you don't even know what to defend? And you don't even know what to defend. Did you get it wrong, man, sir? If you don't go, look, if you're not body, you get called back. I hear say, oh, for the do you know why you get called back? You know? It's just a few minutes, presidency. You kill me. You take 3 months and now, can you stand the yellow over? What you do?
Okay.
Let me say, if you don't know, your feelings that you have in you, when you discuss on the topic, you have to take it for in you and be real.
Thank you very
Take
much.
your feelings for in you and you discuss the issue. When you say, look, can you compare Waka with Wia?
Okay. Breakable, thank you. We gotta go to the next call.
We need to go with 62%. Seven election Waka win.
All right.
To compare a less percentage with a man, with a blunder like making 4 months.
Thank you. Let's go.
Man. Come on.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next caller. Aaron, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mr. So. How you guys doing?
Good, Aaron. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah. There's a couple of things from Terry real quick. It's kind of, surprising when, things were happening in the WIA government. And WIA had surrogates all around us saying, oh, the president didn't know about these things that were happening. Terry then was some of the people that were on media platforms saying, oh, he knows, that's his government. But today, there are the same people coming up and saying, oh, Mr. Waka will not dignify or Yeke Koluba. So you're telling me Mr. Waka don't know about the people that are going around to take Yeke Koluba patients? That's what you say? That's what you say? Look, Terry, John Molu was very instrumental. Look, Waka brought John Molu on board to prove to Liberian people that he was not going to be corrupt. He said it himself on phone that if we can have John Molu on our side, you know we mean business. If John Molu can come up and say these kind of things that he say about the president, John Molu didn't say the president, he never wanted the president to succeed. John Molu is not angry about anything. Anything he's not angry about. Okay? So, sometimes when you analyze it, sometimes I just listen to you. Last time I came on the show, I was saying some stuff. One of the panelists said I was talking Tabata, and I'm a cool man. Tabata made foolishness, but I'm not even going to dignify that. I'm just going to talk what I want to talk. You guys contributed everything to President Weah. But when it happened in the Baka administration, you're the Baka surrogate. Oh, the woman knows nothing about it. You can see Mr. To and Mr. Bako. Mr. Bako, you want to discredit. Okay? Yesterday, you were trying to discredit John Molu character. Okay? But he never discredited his character when John Molu was supporting Mr. Baka, raising money for the president. You know what I'm saying? So, this is hypocrisy in the highest degree. I see from y'all, But people like y'all come on the show, you just feel like, because some of us, we don't come on the platform that they show our faces, you just feel like we're not intellectual enough to argue with you, the Center Goyen, the Samson, and all of y'all. Let's go where belong, okay? The man said you need to fix your government. If you don't fix your government, things will happen. We the physician or we the reaction, we're not worried about that. We know you guys will keep falling in the holes until the season ends. That's what I got to say. Thank you, Mr. Toll.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aaron. Let's get this number and I'll go back to the live view. 763 number 1968. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, my name is Gabriel and last name is Boyman.
Okay, Mr. Boyman, good to have you.
I'm calling from Minnesota. I'm trying to weigh in on John Molu's interview yesterday.
Okay, let's hear you.
I really want to stress the fact that he laid out the technical issue, which he's very knowledgeable about. But then during the interview, he mentioned and gave credit to the president for the way he intervened in the military wives demonstration that was mature enough to keep the peace, right? Besides that, he talked about a vision sometimes can only be like 20% achieved. So looking at these two It makes me think that, okay, Mr. President Borkai as a candidate was different from President Borkai as a president, right? So he's not privileged to a lot of information that may cause him to maybe change a little bit of his approach in keeping the peace. He got to work with international partners. And some of the information that he may have now may give him a little bit of approach different from knowledge. And that's what I was just trying to stress. They might have the same goal, but they might not have the same information. Therefore, I don't think they can have the same approach on how to get to where they want to get, right? Because President Volker now has to keep the peace. He got to make sure that after him, the United Party doesn't fall apart. He got to make sure that the social issues are addressed. And a whole host of issues have to be taken into consideration now that he's president, that Mr. John Morrow doesn't have to worry about. And I have a lot of respect for him, but I just think that is something that we need to look at too as Liberians.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for taking my call.
Thank you so much. We appreciate chipping in here. These are national issues, so everybody I do have the voice in it. Thank you. Let's go to this number here, 980 number 6339. Caller, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. So. My name is Victor, and I'm calling you from Dallas, Texas.
Okay, let's hear you, Vic.
Yes, my input that I want to make on the discussion is to the issue of Mr. Molu, the former AG statement with President Weah return. Yeah, my brother Terry is dilly-dallying over the issue. The thing about election is that elections are based on numbers. And I believe that Mr. Molu spoke based on the numbers that are visible to us right now. So he cannot name people who were not front runners in the election. The two front runners in the election were President Bwaka and former President George Weah. And if you look at the political climate right now, the possibility of Weah coming back to contest is high. So that's why he said if election was held today, with everything that's happening in the country and based on the numbers, because if you look at how President Bwaka won the election, it was by nothing more than 20,000 votes. So for 20,000 people to change their mind, it's easy, especially in Liberia. Just do the wrong thing, which of course that's what this government is doing. I supported this government, but the fact remains that this government is doing the wrong thing. And Mr. Molu speaking out, I don't see anything wrong with that because these are things that we beat other people for during the regime of President Weah. We kept telling people that they were not speaking out. Now somebody is speaking out to the president, and we have people getting mad with him and saying, oh, it's too early. You're not supposed to say the things he's saying. He's angry. He wants a job. And we are getting all of the negative comments. Now, when this government go into 2 years and people like Fagon and nobody is saying nothing, people will start beating on these people and say, oh, Fagon is not saying nothing. Jeremy Pierre quiet. Everybody is not speaking. The president is doing the wrong thing. Then we start to blame the people in the government. People who were close to the president are speaking out. We are mad with them. What do we want? So, Mr. Terry, I know we all supported President Bwaka, but I think this is the time that we need to tell Mr. Bwaka when he's right, he's right. When the government is going wrong, we need to call it out so that these corrections can be made to save the country first, save his political party that we supported, and then save the larger society. I mean, that's about it. There's nothing about power or somebody want job. Thank you, Mr. So, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Vic. And that's what we do here. We accommodate voices. You see, that when a liberal is here to Mr. Nangwe, he would never do that. That's the difference with us. We allow people, even if we disagree with them, we have issue, we allow them to speak because it is about a sovereign country. The liberal and Jerry Bacon and their ally, they will never allow people. And that's why today I tested him. You see him screaming, yelling, trying to fall. Oh, I say my Chinese phone in the background. Yeah, no. So he knows that when he's doing it, how horrible it can be that when you try to silence it. But we are already above the time here. But let me just bring you in quickly as we are about to sign out here. Look, I don't know, and I said that I don't know where is the efficacy for all of us as a people. What do we stand for? What do we want? Uh, Yesterday we talk it, today we can't talk it. We still want boldness in government, transparency. When people try to stand up for something, we put them on the truck. We don't like that. And this is why institutions don't grow. Because anybody who is part of a system who wants to stand for a principle for us to even support and raise them as the next future of that institution of a party, people come across you, people come against you as your antagonist, you you're not one of them. So they cut you off completely. So we just go with one person for the institution. When that person is faded away off the stage, they will start all over again to start looking for the new breed.
Talking to me, Mr. So? Or
No,
Mr. Victor?
I'm talking to Mr. Namwi.
Okay.
Can we
Yeah.
survive as a country, as an institution, as a people with this sort of behavior?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, we unfortunately we have this imperial presidency and all of that, and once you're in a mansion, nobody else is supposed to stand up to you to tell you
Oh God.
that the emperor is not wearing clothes. But we need the benefit of the sounding boards, such as John Molu and I really think my brother Terry here and others should really thank John Molu for giving them the much needed feedback, an authentic feedback, because the thing that John Molu is telling them.
That is not authentic.
The thing John Molu, the thing he's telling them, those are the things that people are talking about in the streets. He said that he used the analogy of saying, President Weir's house was dirty, blanket was dirty, but then you come in the house, you're using the same dirty towel, the same dirty blanket, then what is it that you came to do? Because you came to govern, right? Not business as usual. But all of these things are pretty much the same thing that we saw, last during the last administration. Look, there's something he mentioned. Let me tell you, Terry, you've been in the game for a long time. Almost every president, since probably President Doe time, whenever they come on the scene, they have to answer the question of rice. Since 1979, that question is always on the table. Any president who comes in will get tested on that question. They will get tested on that gasoline question. And this president, he was on the scene for 12 years. Ellen Johnson got tested. You know that. President Weir got tested. You know that. So we expected the president to come back on the scene ready to address these questions. That's not what we're seeing. This is what is frustrating us. I joined the show when Mr. So was indicating, the involvement of the progressive. And yeah, to some extent, yes, the progressive. This is the government that all of us really felt was coming to make that clean break. From the little children playing in the backyard like we saw in the last administration. All of that. But that's not what we're seeing. This is what is frustrating a lot of people. I think this is what is also frustrating John Mueller. And I'm shocked that you don't seem frustrated by this, Mr. Collins, because there's really nothing that this government has done that has drawn a clear line of demarcation from business as usual. I mean, from the appointment to the foreign trade to everything. Well, what is this bold thing that this president has done that is markedly different from what President Weir did, from what President Johnson did, from what President Taylor did, from what President Judy Bryant did? So, this is the source of our frustration. So, I think John Molu means well. He came to sound a cautionary note. And this is why he made all of those conditional. If we don't do this, if we continue this, if we don't do this.
Okay, Terry.
So, again, I still stand with that. My thought process. I know that Mr. Nangwe, Honorable Nangwe, he supported the ANC, which is the likes of Alexander Cummings.
The 1%. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I will not use the word 1% because right now that 1% today, if today was election, that 1% could be 700,000.
I know, right?
So I'm not, because it varies. Election things can change, especially with the mindset on the psyche of people and all of that.
I told you so.
Obviously, I will expect you to say these things and to be on the side of Molu, because obviously you're not going to be supporting JMB. I know that you don't even, first of all, as from my perspective, you want him to fail. That's number one. Number two is that to prove that you guys' assertion and political view of him was true. So even when Molu say these things, it is to your advantage. It is to your taste. And that is the reason why I won't take your analogy for face value. Sorry if that offend you. But what I want to say is that, Mr. So, Molu did not august well in his presentation, and that is the reason why the opposition community is shouting. Now you see Bopler then can call. You see Keto then can come on the show 2 times in a row. And the only thing he's saying is, Molu said President Weah will come back. It's like Molu have filled the camp with hope. You seen it? Because that was it. Now, if you read the statistics here, all right, for 2017 election, President Bokar result were in the 400. President Weah was 700,000, 734,000. In the 2023 election, President Weah was 793,000. He did increase a little bit. President Bokar went to 814,000. So what I'm saying is that the strategy President Bokar installed was to create.
Don't forget now, when you're taking the credit, you should also take the negative. You said this is not a UP-led government, but now you're saying UP single-handedly increased. Did you forget?
No, I said President Bokar.
No, I mean, did you forget a collaboration? Because
yeah. Maybe I made a mistake. Thank you for the correction. Because I myself, I don't want for unity party people to think that this is the government, because the media is running with it. And the media is good at putting words in your mouth for you to hang on it so that it can bite you in the end. So, and that's what happened to CDC. They made the institution to be a CDC-led government. And thereby, in the time they needed the MPP, it was very late for them. Unity Party should not make that same mistake. Every time they ask them, they should tell them that this is not a Unity Party government, this is an alliance. An alliance, so that the other political institution can feel part of it. My thing and my regret, you see Aaron Butler talking, Aaron Butler, then they get the audacity, you understand it, to come on this network here and then a great Terry for supporting President Bokar against President Weah, given the fact that he claimed that I don't want to be honest. So Aaron, were you honest with your country when President Weah said that Liberia is Miami? I mean, Miami, Liberia is just like Miami. President Weah, do you really think Liberia is like Miami? Have you gone to Liberia to see how it's looking? But I believe you are one of those who are defending President Weah on that statement that Liberia is like Miami. You also would defend Samuel 12 when he said 25 million people were emancipated from poverty. I believe you defended Samuel 12 for that.
Wait, me?
So we are not going back. That's my point. If Molu had an advice, because his voice carried weight, Molu's voice alone can run campaign. So if I was a political steward, or I'm a political guy, like Mr. Honorable Man Victor now, if I would ask Honorable now Victor to say, what do you think about the prospect of 2029? If he have somebody, he will not want to tell me that he foresee that we're going back to President Weah. Can you say that, Honorable Vic? Honorable Nangwe? Can you tell me that you foresee that we're going back to President We Are leadership?
Well, I'm hoping not, Terry, but I'm telling you this: with the way this current government is governing, they will make it easier for President We Are to make a comeback. And I told you,
okay.
So, but let me say this: as a strategist as yourself, it is not a good advice to tell your principal to tell people that this is not a UP-led government. Then he's abdicating the throne. He's abdicating the presidency. He's telling the people he's not in charge. And that is not good. That is not a good strategy. This is a UP-led government because the tip of the spear is the president. He is a UP man. So when you begin to say, "Oh, don't blame me or anything, or blame the MDRO and then blame this,"
yeah, you know what?
We are an alliance.
You know what, Mr.
It's not just the Unity Party. We are an alliance.
Terry is setting the argument for the future so that when things go wrong,
I know, right?
They are not part of it. So this guy called me. He said he wants to confess the liberal.
He called back?
Yeah, he called back, but my phone, the battery can go off anytime depending on what he's going to say. The liberal.
Yes, thank you, Mr. So. I've been listening for quite a while now. But what I can say to Terry is it's okay for us to disagree, and that doesn't mean that your view are no longer value, or those are your view. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion.
Go ahead. My battery charged now, and the phone battery charged. Go ahead.
Well, that's going on. So now you're pushing that for nothing. And that's going to work. But let me just say this here. Terry, the problem, for example, and I want to be very straight here as well, we all manipulate statements from political leaders that we don't agree with. I'll give you an example. President Weah's statement about Liberia is like Miami. He explained to her, he was very explicit. But we, the pundits that didn't want him to succeed anything, we took it and turned it the other way. We said the Miami weather is just like Liberia weather. So Liberia just like Miami. But then we took it and said, "Oh, President, we have to Liberia just like Miami." We didn't go to the other word, the context of his statement. We didn't care for it. And so the CDC is doing the same thing. That's just common politics. But what I want to say to my little brother Terry, is this. Manu's statement, I think Victor stated it correctly. We should be grateful to have somebody who will, I don't like the process, I don't agree with it by going on stone. But to have somebody to say, President Buckeye, things that happened within the last 4 or 5 months, it's not good. The government is not doing well. To have that kind of person to be able to say at that level, we should be grateful. Because if the Unity Party and President Buckeye would take heed, and not everything Manu was saying was say, okay, we got to fix it, but let them look at it. And they will see some truth in it and try to fix those things so that by the time 6 years is over, we will be in a better place than to say that Molo is angry. What Molo angry for? He told you on the thing. He said, since I left Ellen, I said, E.T., where one will get there for?
But the man
was at the airport in Ghana, getting ready to go to Liberia. And because of certain things, he didn't forget it. I'm not going. And he left. You, Terry.
Hold on. True
liberal.
Wait, the man, wait. Yeah, go ahead, liberal. You, Terry, you told me.
Mr. Soul, you're sitting in with a liberal. I'm not going to be listening to you here tonight. But let me just say this. And that doesn't mean you should cut me off, because I know you can do it. So don't cut me off. You are Israeli, and we all know that. Here's what I'm going to say. Terry, you yourself, you told me. Mr. Toll, on the show, you say, Costa, I'm afraid the way Costa and the Pape are going. The day Costa turned against the Pape, we finish. And exactly. You're very insightful. I mean, your depth and aspiration are very insightful as far as I'm concerned. But on this one, we're going to have to disagree. I think we should
no problem.
Manu was not Mother was not very insulting to the president or anything. He just made
Mr. Toga, he put in his mouth tonight.
But I think for us to say that he's doing it different than something else.
Okay, so Mr. To, yeah, Mr. To, just look on the screen. There's a package from Town just came to you. But right now we get one of the most independent after listening to all of the tabata from the left, from the right, from the middle. Dr. Marley Jones is here to put it into context before we go. Please. Dr. Jones is about to speak. Don't interrupt.
Oh, Dr. June is here. Wow. Dr. June, you left your man in cold water. Is that how the independent voices can operate?
Mr. Josh Nimlin just send a message for you. Let me just deliver the package here. Mr. Tor got his foot out of his mouth tonight. Wow. Okay, Dr. Jones, let's hear you quickly before we go.
Yeah, CEO, good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening, panelists.
Yeah.
Good evening, Dr. Jones. Mally.
Yes, I decided I've been following the show while in my convoy to New York. But what I wanted to say to panelist Collins tonight is like the follower of Joseph Boakai and the chorus group that also include the rescue team, they need to graduate from tradition and cultural politics to a more modern, tolerant, and perseverant politics. The president and his government need to be tolerant to the view of other people. That's the only way they can check on their mistakes, make correction, and take the country in the right direction. But from what I see, Terry saying tonight, if Terry is an advisor to His Excellency, they are going to destroy that country.
Wow.
The government should be told the truth. The government should encourage more feedback. The government should entertain people. The government should not take people to be enemies when they express their views. We have graduation from our stage. We no longer in our bubble. And so I want to congratulate Mr. Toole, who decided to retreat.
Yes.
And said, this Molu guy, his view, don't forget, Mr. Molu and His Excellency Joseph Boakai are not strangers. First of all, you need to ask yourself, why did Joseph Boakai play a double game on Molu? You need to ask yourself, why Molu decided to come and tell the Pape, I will help you fight corruption. And later on, decided to silence him. You need to ask yourself that, and the answer is simple. President Boakai is anti to transparency and accountability. And this is the reason why he decided to silence the light that will come to help him fight.
Please stop the disruption. Please stop the disruption, please.
The legislative party is not tolerant to the view of others and get their feedback and use it as a mirror to see themselves in their own rear view mirror. There will continue to be problems in the legislative party.
Thank you. You pass along. What's up?
Yeah, give me 10. If I affect the vice president taking over right now, and to be very sincere with you, President Boakai has ignored the tabletop issue. And one of the panelists said, the tabletop issue, the president has ignored them. The issue of rights, gathering,
Thank you so
The
much.
fact of the matter here is that we all support Joseph Boakai. But equally so, His Excellency should be tolerant to feedback. It's very good for them. It is very good for them. The only feedback I will not support is profanity, insult, and complete disregard of the value system of someone as a person or a politician. But other than that, we need to be praising people who will come up and give opposite view to this government, and you use it as a lens to learn and correct your mistakes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Dr. Jones, before you go, I just want to announce. Hold on.
Independent view.
Hold on. When the independent voices of LPRO speaks, interestingly, Mr. Namwit, tonight is a very, very huge breakthrough. One of the liberal strong ally. She is so much disappointed tonight, and now she are getting to know that we on the right side of the history. So she sent me a message, say, my pen just finished. I want to write, I can't write, but please, Mr. So, just how she sent this message to me, this is how I'm gonna put it. And liberal, you have to decide. This one here is coming from Fatumata, and this is what she wrote here tonight. Interesting. Fatumata VM Sherry moving forward tonight. Disassociate myself from the liberal wing of LPR led by Samson. Hold on. Let me read a one more message. Disassociate myself from the liberal wing of LPR led by Mr. Samson Toll. I am with Mr. Soul. So, Dr. Male, we made a significant gain. The liberal folks are leaving him. They have abandoned him in this process. And Fatuma, welcome on board. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, bye. My battery is dying. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, good night.
Okay. So, folks, let's wrap it up here before we go 1 minute. I think this is quite interesting. Terry, that's your own liberal.
Well, Labour is entitled to his view.
So and I think you got a hit here tonight. Any change in mind?
Well, no, not at all. But Mr. So, the thing is just clear to me as daylight. All right, and it should be clear to everybody who are rational thinking and who are intellectuals. Mr. Molu, take for example, you as an individual, right? You were promised something. I agree, Molu have connections, but a man will never feel, a man like Molu that I know will never feel comfortable with all of his experiences he have to keep working for other countries. So his pride and the legacy that Mr. Molu will want to leave on this planet is to one day work and exert all his knowledge for his country. And I believe that this was the best time that he thought he could do it. And that is where the frustration comes in. And I will stick with that. That the reason why Molu did what he did is because he's coming from the place of frustration. Because he's aware that President Boakai is not going to carry him with him. And I can feel that. I understand that. I myself, I wanted for Molu to be on this particular train. I also believe, I'm one of those who said that with the presence of Molu on the rescue train, accountability and transparency will be number one, will be the hallmark of the Boakai government, and will also propel him to the next level for international validation.
You stand by it. You stand by it today still?
Are you
Yes.
that
I believe in that.
Wait now. So Terry, you are saying that you had hoped that with the coming of John Molu on board, then there would be the presence of accountability and transparency. And I'm asking you, do you really now are saying that because he's not on, so these qualities are not being exhibited by this current government? Is that what you're saying?
No, Mr. Namwe, you can't say that.
Why are you saying that?
No, what I'm saying is, Mr. Molu, in my view, at the time, would have been the best person for the job to propel Liberia to an international level on a level of accountability and transparency. In my opinion, President Boakai decided to divert and go to a different place because he felt probably he could not work with the temperament of Mr. Molu. All right. This does not literally mean that the government does not have somebody that will replace Molu with accountability and transparency. Now, whether if it is working effectively or efficiently, that's another discussion for another day. But what I am basing my argument on tonight is that Mr. Molu said that President Boakai's signing of the War and Economic Crime Code is a lie and it will not go anywhere. That is the area I have problem with him, and I said he made these statements on a foundation of frustration. And I remain on that constantly.
Okay, before Mr. Nabe come with his closing statement, you say you believe then. Do you believe now of Malu's position? In your words, you said he will bring accountability, transparency. You believe it then. Do you believe it now?
I still believe that Molu needs to be one of the pillars in Liberia that can bring accountability and transparency because of his expose. He's a straightforward guy. He's a choleric. They are determined. They make things happen.
Is he still straightforward? Is he still straightforward today, even to these statements that he made? Are they straightforward?
Yes, no. That's what I said. I said it was not everything Mr. Molu said that was bad. If you've been listening to me, even from yesterday to today, I said I have problem with him on only two things he said. Only two things.
Is it that you see anger in him?
Yes, I see that he's venting the real choleric nature out of him, coming out of him. And that is why, because for me, I study temperament. I study people's temperament a lot. All right. So I understand when people are trying to display temperaments. And I can tell you for sure. And that is what it is. And that is what I saw, because when he said certain things, I felt that he left track now. Okay. He was on a different ride. So and Liver said something that President Weah was saying, that the weather climate in.
Let's disregard.
Yeah, so that was not.
The Liberal too is a wonderful person here, but
I really feel bad for him tonight. The Liberal is losing partners, you know.
Oh yeah,
Fatima. This is huge. This is breaking news for the Liberal.
Let's see how long it will last. Do not depend on that writing.
But listen,
let's see the juice.
In my closing,
but there is something, Mr. I beg you, Honorable Nangbe, before you come in, there is something that Mr. Mali, the independent voice, said that I totally disagree with. President Boakai is giving opportunity to people to speak freely. So stop, Dr. Mali. President Boakai is not suppressing nobody from speaking and having their opinion.
Okay. Mr. Nambe, your question statement.
Well, I'll try to be as short because I know my brother here is struggling, twisting himself into pretzels, trying to defend. They're difficult to defend. So he has a job cut out for him. But a few things. One, he said that Molu is homesick, so to speak. Molu has worked with government here and there, but he wants to. What he interprets as him being frustrated because he didn't get a job at home. It's patriotism. The man wants to come home now to serve his country. He did not make it a secret. He had hoped to work in this government. But his frustration, as you rightly say, he's frustrated. He's frustrated because the government is going in the wrong direction. He made that very clear. The lack of transparency, corruption, all of these things are still prevalent, and he does not see any attempt being made to curb these, and that's why he is not prepared to work in this government. He made that very clear. Okay. And I said to you again last night, you will do well. Terry, you are blinded by an expired prescription. You need to go.
Reschedule for an exam.
She's on you.
I like that.
So let me tell you this.
My prescription is expired. Okay. No problem.
I did not vote for this. I did not support this president. But he is the president of Liberia now. So, and I want him to succeed. I feel almost the same way as John Molu, and I feel a lot of people are feeling that this government has a lot. It has a potential to do a lot of good, but it is going in the wrong direction. And the people like Molu, yourself, all of us here, we don't tell it like it is. We will continue to go in the wrong direction, and your re-election or your legacy is in peril. I'm just saying that. So I think you all should thank Molu for coming out of the wilderness and proffering advice free of charge. I think when you leave this set tonight, you should write him a thank you note. Thank you, Mr. So. A great show. Thanks to the audience for
The
their.
ANC and the CDC can thank him because he's now going back to them now. They can thank him. They can begin to celebrate him because he's going to help you.
Yeah. All right. And please send out.
Molu, he coming to CDC and ANC to you guys.
Yeah, Molu is coming to ANC. Wait, let him come. We'll welcome him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So y'all will thank him there now, but the Unity Party will not thanking him because we get to thank him.
Wow.
Anyway, my consolation to the Liberal for his loss tonight.
We already thanked him.
The Liberal fell below the belt. One of his closer allies.
I know, right? This is a serious
moving
dissociate.
forward.
Yeah.
Federal is a big win. Liberal break win with Terry.
I think Molu was also a sedition, right? Before he was part of CDC.
He didn't make it any secret. He said he supported President.
Yeah. So that was when he said that going back to CDC, the power going back to them. It's not strange. It's not something that we don't know that
I'm
he would
not
have
sure
said, but
it
was just shocking to come out of him. That's my point.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. What a fascinating conversation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. So.
Jerry had to say Chani man, Chani Poha to that Terry is one of the we actually Chani. He still tried to face the man and that we were in but thank you so much. Bye-bye, guys.
Good night, guys.
All right. Okay, well, folks, that does it this event. I'm a fast and so we say to all of you, our viewers and listeners, your tweets, your comments, your interactions, those that even calling, we say thank you so much. We've gone over the time. That's how we're going to draw the curtain down this event in tonight's edition. Conversation with Samson Tor. The Liberal finally got his foot out of his mouth. So say my man named Pricking wing with his ally, Terry, and of course, the strong ally of the Liberal, Fatoumata Sharif, disassociating herself with the Liberal wing of this network, moving in our column to see daylight, where transparency, efficacy, truth, and the voices of the people must be heard, regardless of their positions in the political process in Liberia. We want to thank you so much. By God's willing, I think the Liberal going to be here. His guy, Jared Bacon, is on the other side. Get ready to see the worst top attack in the history of this network. But I will be here to put them into check. I will be here. No matter what, the Liberal, we will not allow the Liberal to get away. But he's gradually getting to the point to understand the reality of today's work and politics. And it was glaring tonight his positions publicly here to denounce this man, Terry, disassociating himself with Terry. Terry is in a different world. So we want people to speak to the power. We want people to hold their own government accountable. But guess what? When people speak, we see them as being bitter. We see them as being hateful. We see them as enemy. Molu is speaking his mind, things that he strongly believes. And this is why a condition was attached to his statement. And why people don't understand, Molu is looking at taking a holistic approach of the survival of the Unity Party, not just under the watch of Joseph Newman Boycott, but aftermath of Unity Party now is more crucial. It is not, for sure, we cannot say it's not impossible, but most likely, Joseph Newman Boyka may not seek re-election. And I believe he said that in one of his interviews. But the probability and the percentage, if we were to do a real-time statistics, most likely George Weah will recontest. And he said that when he returned to the country, that was unusual on the part of a certain or former president. I'm back and I'll be involved in politics. So Molus is sounding the caveat that we have one of the popular presidents, even though his party was defeated. But when we look at that margin, is in a margin of error with that percentage, that Unity Party in the alliance party to win the election. And so more we're looking at different aspects and corners about the survival of the Unity Party, knowing full well he just a Newman Boyka on top of the TK, Jeremiah Kuhn coming from the other end of the party, different party to align with Unity Party. He's not sure whether that alliance will continue to hold. What happens if Jeremiah Kuhn down the road he sidelined it, or he decided to go off and decide not to associate with Unity Party for other reasons we do not know yet, and that's not what we are wishing for. And if Joseph Newman Boyka is not seeking re-election, it means Unity Party will be in a vulnerable state where they're going to be looking for presidential candidate, they're going to be looking for vice presidential candidate. And if these alliances form to get them to this finishing top, if it doesn't hold, then it is a big vacuum. So the time they will take to fetch to go out there to find candidate, CDC will most likely just be looking for one person to running mate, in which they have a lot of people with Fanatic Kofa positioning himself, who is more or less a mentor to George Weah. Fanatic Kofa was one of the chief architects that led George Weah to take the decision that he took, and we are even hearing he was one of the crafters of that George Weah speech in making a conception while counts was still in the making, for which the president was praised and was commended. Now Fanatic Kofa is the number 3 man in the Republic of Liberia, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, giving him big and huge political leverage. That even if he decides to contest, or if George Weah decides to back off and Fanatic Kofa decides to be the face of CDC, he could rebrand CDC. He could have a good political argument based on what he's doing now. So he's working on something that where he can retrospect his political base, where he came from to where he's going. So all of this is what Molus is putting into context, but he's not being seen as the bad guy. So the question becomes, in our politics, we as a people, as a nation, politicians, even to radio hosts, where is the efficacy? Where is it? What do we stand for? What do we believe? Do we have the courage to even hold one of our own accountable? But as the saying goes, all of us and all tries to protect his or her own alligator. To put the interest of their political, so-called political leaders than the interest of the country, which in most cases, and we have seen from time to time, have caused us not to have institution that stands for value, principles, equality, and the rule of law. So we empower, instead of empowering the institution, we empower the individuals over the institutions, making it more very, very difficult to have the rule of law. Until then, I am Afonso Zia Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. I will say, Fatumata, you have made a good lifetime, good decision by disassociating yourself with the liberal wing of this network. We say, welcome to the Freedom House. Welcome in a house where all, and not just few, and not the selective ones, voices are heard. But a house, all have the right to speak and talk for the country. We throw the rare carpet welcome. In fact, we will host a major virtual party here for your decision. We cannot continue to have the likes of Cherry, Bacon, and that of the liberal progressive on this network to sanctioned voices. We welcome you on board. Until then, have a pleasant event. Bye-bye. And we'll be back here because my prediction, the liberal will want to come back here tomorrow to put on a defense line. And we'll come with the Israeli bulldozer just in case the liberal tries to retract his public statement. We will call him out. And this is why Dr. Marley Jones, myself, Cotto, and most likely Victor Nangwe here to keep it fair, balanced, and proportional. Have a pleasant event. Bye-bye.
Thomas, yeah. Do it, but no recover BPM. Take care of the instrumental.